Yes, yes, yes. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your girl, Adara, and I'm Sharif. Let's go futures, says the Katina man, and we're going to wait for everyone to come in on over from the other stream. We already have Jason Walcott as well as the world's greatest moderator, Bears versus Bulls. We got Killer Cam, we got Draco, we got Charlie Taft, Trader Drew, Max Trades and Investing, afternoon to you too. We got Cairo, Paul Goodson, and Ronaldo as per usual. Pons Fons 1320 Wolf, Big Kevin Mendoza. We got Manesh, it looks like a new name there. We got Shannon Gregory as well as Dwayne, Stephanie Gilbert, Oliver, what's up to you, Easy Trader, welcome my man, Snowman as well, and Francis, as well as Randall Lee. Good morning, Adara.
Good morning. How are you this fine day?
Not too bad. In a current trade right now on a small cap gapper. It just broke below my level, but we were already able to wet our beak a little bit. OKLO is the ticker. This one, number 6 on my watch list is no catalyst, really. It's about, it's up 10% or so. Looked to get in for this level right here. My stop is already in place through the break of 7 3/4. Already wet my beak on some profits. What are you looking at?
I mean, you know what I'm looking at. Its name is NVIDIA, like shockingly. Yeah, so you might be like, Adara, what are you doing looking at NVIDIA today? I honestly, my biggest thing, I was talking to Sharif about this yesterday. I said this on the show as well. I came like within a hair of getting shut down yesterday, and the way I was able to kind of get out of that, not entirely, didn't make everything back, but I was able to kind of get into a good place because I was just trading names that I really liked, that I felt I had a good read on. Today, I actually feel like I have a good read on NVIDIA. And so with the book, and so with that in mind, I think I kind of owe it to myself to take a trade. I already missed that 1035. I said to Sharif, I said, watch 1035 NVIDIA.
Yep.
We get to 1035, which came in confluence here with VWAP, and it bounced. And I was a little bit bummed out that I did not take that trade, but it's like, you know what that means? You have more opportunities to take more trades. I have a whole bunch of levels highlighted on NVIDIA. 1016, 1027.5, 1035, 1032, 1035, 1040, 1042. And it's just based on stuff I've seen on the tape and the chart. So we're gonna have to see if these come to fruition, but just some levels I will be looking at today. But also, Adham Abu Sahel, 199 super chat. Some of the love from PDD, heart emoji, flying dollar emoji. Let's take a look at PDD. PDD was one of, I think it was my best name yesterday. This was a really fun one to trade yesterday, and certainly interesting today as well. Congrats to you. I don't know, either you could have taken this long and short and done really, or short and done really well here. But we had that pop off here off that 148 level, which was pretty fun yesterday. We come into that 156, which was another level that was super critical yesterday as well. We bounce off it kind of beautifully, then we come back up. So great look here for PDD. Let's look at the daily chart in this one, because this one has certainly been, oh my, yeah, this is a monster. Look at that double bounce we get here at a bit of a downward channel. We come bounce at 112, and PDD's like, I don't like being down here. I'm gonna go back up. So nice bounce up. Thank you so much again for the super chat, Adham. This has been a great day, and I'm so happy to see what these markets have to offer. Yeah,
all right.
Lesson though too.
Yes, we are talking about the measured move all week, guys, on said lesson today. We're going to talk about scalping using the measured move. So let's get right down to business. So scalping thrives on capturing tiny profits from frequent trades. Measured moves, when used strategically, can become your secret weapon for intraday scalping. So here's how to combine these powerful concepts. So as we typically do, what is the measured move in case you missed the lesson for Monday? So imagine, you know, I'll just give you an example. Imagine a stock surges to $2 on an intraday basis. A measured move, often based on the historical retracement, will estimate the potential future support and resistance level. So in this case, a 50% retracement on a $2 move will suggest to you a dip into about 150 before potentially resuming the uptrend. The whole idea here is to figure out where something may retrace to, where something may top out at, so you can base your dip trades on, and as well as your profit takers. So we're going to talk about that whole concept from the lens, or review it from the lens of scalping. So let's get right down to business, baby. So scalping with the measured moves. Step 1, identify a strong trend. Scalping works best in trending markets. Use technical indicators or price action analysis to confirm an uptrend or downtrend. I would say to you, look at the moving averages really if you can't gauge the trend based on price. Moving averages, it's easy to see. They point up or down or sideways, okay? It's really going to depend on which moving average you choose here. Step 2, spot the initial price move. So look for a significant price move within the trend. For example, a sharp jump up, intraday or right at the bell with a catalyst, for example. So you're looking, number 1, identify a strong trend, and then you're looking for the initial price move as step 2. Step 3, you're going to use the calculations we explained to you over the last few days to calculate the measured move. So you're going to apply a retracement level of your choice, whether you're using the 50, the 61.8, whatever it is on the fibs, you're going to use it to estimate a potential support and resistance zone. That's step 3. Step 4, your entry and your exit with precision. This is the tricky part here, okay? So for an upward trend, you're looking to enter a long position near the calculated retracement level. In our first example, it would be $1.50. So you've calculated that there was a $2 move, right? And then the 50% retracement off that $2, about $1.50. So you'll be waiting there with a resting order to get filled. So in an upward trend, you're entering a long position near the calculated retracement level, example $1.50. As the price dips, you're going to exit shortly after the price bounces and shows sign of resuming the uptrend. So a small breakout above the retracement level, for example. In a downtrend, for the short sales, you're going to enter a short position near the retracement level. So it'll be like around 150 as the price rises, right? So you're shorting the pops here. You're not going along the dips, the complete opposite. You're going to exit shortly after the price confirms the downtrend by breaking below the retracement level. So simple 1, 2, 3, 4, those are how to kind of look to use the system. A lot easier said than obviously done, okay? Some key considerations that you need to think about if you're going to use scalping in the measured move technique. So volatility is your friend. As a day trader, that's kind of ubiquitous. Measured moves work best in volatile markets with frequent price swings, offering more opportunities for scalping entries and exits. And you're going to want to have tighter stops with these ones. You're not taking as much profit, so you shouldn't be losing as much here either. You got to keep that risk to reward analysis in the back of your mind when you have that scalping mentality. So tighter stops, scalping profits are small, so use strict stop losses placed slightly below the entry price for longs, or obviously above the entry price for shorts, okay? You also make sure to set your stop and profit takers right after entering the trade to make sure that you can get in and out according to your plan. And managing risk, kind of like not the same thing, but similar. Scalping involves frequent trades, so risking a significant amount per trade can quickly reduce your capital. So maintain good risk management practices. Essentially, it's a long-winded way of saying use less size per trade when you're scalping here. It's up to you, though, obviously. So tips to take your scalping a little further. Combine measured moves with price action. I think this is kind of just goes without saying. Look for confirmation signals like candlestick patterns at the retracement level to increase confidence in your entry point. So if you were looking for a possible bullish signal at your level, say that $1.50 that we were talking about, perhaps you could be looking for a hammer candle to be in and around there, a bottoming tail candle, perhaps a couple of candle patterns, maybe a bullish engulfing. Whatever, you're looking for something to tip you off at the level that you've earmarked. That's what I'm trying to say. And you could also use market orders here for faster entries. I don't personally use market orders myself, but I know that people use them with success. I personally use wider limit orders with a bit of a spread between the trigger and the limit. But for market orders, you can consider using market orders to ensure you get into a fast moving or scalping opportunity, but be aware of possible price slippage. So slippage is essentially, you put in a market order at the time the bid was saying, I don't know, or the ask was saying, say, I don't know, $200, and all of a sudden by the time you get filled, it's at 2010. So that's what we're talking about with slippage. Obviously as well, the spread can factor into that. And last but not least, man, practice, practice, practice. Demo trade using scalping with measured moves to refine your strategy and gain confidence before ever risking real capital. If you see a level that's continuing to prove itself, don't be afraid to scalp in and out while using the appropriate risk management skills. And by mastering the art of scalping with the measured move, you'll be better equipped for said type of technique, Adair.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sharif, for that lesson. You guys know I was very excited. Sharif,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, did you see the lesson today? 'Cause it's scalping. Yeah, I added that last bit because I think if you see a level that you're really liking, you know, maybe like, again, risk management, of course, too, but, you know, try it. See if it works for you to take those scalps. So I did try to take that NVIDIA 1040 short, and then it was, my account was like, haha, Dara, you cannot afford NVIDIA. I was like, cool. Because I know NVIDIA is like a more expensive name. NVIDIA is now like, I'm too classy for Dara. I was like, that's cool. I understand.
Wow.
I get that. So,
someone
right?
needs a bump up in BP, baby.
Well, yeah, I do not deserve that yet at all. So, yeah, we need to. I think I need to prove myself more to NVIDIA first. But yeah, I'm considering NVDL shorts right now. Though I do think I would probably rather play this bounce off of that 51 level, which is that 1035 roughly on NVDA, because that's a level I like. So that's probably how I pay it, or how I'll play it. If we keep rejecting off that little roundy top around 1045, maybe I'll get NVDL shorts, but right now not getting too married to anything there. Tesla, I tried this. I think the issue here was execution. If I'd given myself like literally 5 pennies more to run, I still think the short could come in. But also the issue was, I like that we had a few candles here failing to break up, right? I thought we could have had a breakdown. Got short 176, which is where a lot of these candles were coming to. And then, of course, Tesla ramps up with the viciousness. I said, you know what? I understand that. That's cool. That's fine. I also had a bit of a TQL as well. But again, it was just based on that. We had these failed wicks up here. I thought we'd have that rejection. We sort of did, and then we gave it all up. Got out when we got to where we had a little bit of that previous bounce. So again, happy with how the trades went. Am I happy that my P&L is down? Well, no, you never are going to be, but it's not about P&L. It's about what you learn from each trade. It's about how you push yourself. And it's about Apple giving me this range that I wasn't even paying attention to.
Just about to get into it.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting involved. So I'm gonna take a bite out of this apple, this Macintosh apple, and see if it sends me to the downside. I kind of want like 50s, but I don't think it's going to give me 50s. I think Sharif definitely has the right idea there. How are your Alco and Apple going so far?
It's good. We're just wetting our beak right now on Apple as it dipped down. The other one is still out of the money by 10 pennies, but I already really took out the majority of the position. I'm waiting to see if this area holds. This area over here on OKLO, let me just show you real quick, is the 10 period on the 5, but it looks like it's given up the ghost. So my stop is already in place. It gets triggered. It gets triggered. That's the end of that. I'm keeping an eye on 70.70 though, even if my stop does get triggered, which is below this area over here. I think I'm sitting at 72s or 71s. If it does get triggered, I'll look to get in possibly on VWAP if it proves itself that it will use that area as a key area of support. So if it does, yeah, we'll take it. If it doesn't, oh well. So that is the case there. We're going to leave that one. Let's see what will come. The reason I got short on the dead one right now, pretty simple reason. It made it back into VWAP, although I do know that this is looking awfully double bottom-ish. And it is bouncing off support level 2 on pivots. But this was the initial pop into VWAP, and it was a pop and then drop. And then over here, same thing. We pop in, we drop again. So I'll just taking quick scalps, not really going to hold this. My stop is already on the break of this high over here. If it continues to hold down, we'll wet our beaks possibly into 189 or something like that. Already printed on it though, there.
Nice. Yeah, it's a really great look. I wasn't able to get involved. I said to Dara, kind of wait and see, because I just didn't want to force myself into it. Yeah, you definitely had a great entry point on that. I still think I want NVIDIA. I still love NVIDIA. Still looking at NVIDIA longingly. I don't have any other plays that I'm like super, super obsessed with. So I think at that point I'm like, I'm going to wait for 1035s. If we get 1035s in NVIDIA, I'm going to play that in NVDL. I believe, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens. And again, I think I might have to procure some shorts in NVDL. Other things I like right now, this snowflake is coming into one of the levels I identified for myself, which is that 157. Look at, okay. And the spread, okay, the spread. So the spread, I need to be more careful about spread, because spread shot me up yesterday on Meta. Spread shot me up yesterday in Moderna, though Moderna, I had a lot of other issues beyond the spread. It was just, I was a little bit tilted on that, but it's all good. I want to see what Snow does here. We're trying to push above that 157, but if we fail that, and the fact that we're below the 90 MA, I think this could be a short opportunity. I want to take a look here at Boeing, because someone was mentioning Boeing here. Gaurav was mentioning Boeing. Yes, there's been a couple. I'm not seeing this like this most recent volume pops here in the news, but I know the FAA has been talking about Boeing earlier today, saying that they have a long road ahead of them. Did you?
Was this earlier, Adara? This came in at 8:10, 11:10. Sorry.
This is I think probably the story. This Boeing.
Okay, because I don't see it from before that. Yeah.
I think that is this one.
Yeah, because it just came in with the fire emoji beside it, which usually means it's like a hot story. All right, Boeing now sees negative free cash flow in 2024 as deliveries remain sluggish. Surprised? Not me. Obviously, trouble with that company, not only in production, but with safety. We know all about that. I'm not going to belabor that, but that is the headline that's coming in right now. Boeing shares extend losses, last down 5.3% after CFO says company now expects negative free cash flow in 2024. That just did come in, I believe, at 11:08. I don't know. Yeah. 11:08, and there's this headline as well. Shares of Boeing hit last session low of 180.04, last down, okay, after confirms delays in plan.
Oh, that
was yesterday. Yeah, I do remember that from yesterday. So I believe it is the CFO one about the negative cash flow that is kind of keeping things artificially low at this level. So keep your eye on Boeing. Thank you, Gora, for pointing that out. Good call on that one. With respect to AAPL, I've put in my profit taker at the $0.25, but I got to tell you, having watched the book and the tape here for the last few minutes, there is a hidden buyer at 35. There is just not enough size on the book here at 35 to prevent this from coming down. So watch the book at 35. There's definitely something icebergish at that level. Every time it comes down to 189.35, there is a buyer not reflected on the book, hence my assumption that it is an iceberg. So keep your eye on that one. The other thing, we're getting very similar patterns on some of these Mag 7s, and that hasn't been the case as of late. Look at the similarity between Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and Meta. They're looking awfully similar. And then there is similarity, ironically, between two stocks that really never moved together, Goggles and the Cybertruck. GOOGL and TSLA look very similar. So there is some confluence today between some of these Mag 7 names. Whether we're able to use it to our advantage, an entirely different story, but I just wanted to point that out. You can see the double bottomish shape on the soft one, very similar with Apple, same look with Meta, top left corner over here. A little bit of a different look with the Zon over here, not really a clean double bottom area. And then Google and Tesla, you can see they're awfully similar as well, down and to the right, and then you're getting this little spike up over here that just started at 5 to the hour over here, so right at 11 essentially. So keep your eye, these ones moving in tandem, and then these four moving in tandem. NVIDIA is just doing its thing. It doesn't care about anybody. It's got its own catalyst there, and it's got its own marches to the beat of its own drum.
It has its own agenda.
There you
we
go.
didn't have 2 super chats while we had the lessons. I'm going to have those. Thank you so much, Rami Rahim. $2 super chat. 18,000 on NVIDIA calls, and I sold earlier. I mean, congrats to you. It's a great look there. NVIDIA's still kind of perking its little head up. NVIDIA, stop behaving so well, because I'm going to have feelings. But no, really nice look here. That 1040 is certainly a level it's been bouncing around right now. Shout out to you, Rami. I was going to say hope you print, but you clearly are, so nice look. And thank you so much to Noah as well for the $5.99 super chat, or sorry, $4.99 super chat. 5th super chat on a live stream. Home trading all week because of a tornado. Pray for Houston. Yeah, I am. Hopefully everything is okay there in Houston. I was not aware of that tornado. Grateful for meme stocks making me coin for my classroom. What a wild trading lesson on memes. Yeah, the memes have been... it's a sight to be meme, that's for sure. It's what memes are made of. And so thank you so much to Noah for that super chat. Hopefully things are okay. Read that tornado.
Did you say that's what memes are made of?
Yeah.
So you obviously meant what dreams are made of.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
yeah.
I just got it right now.
I like what you have to say about Google and Tesla, but it's funny because I actually have opposite reads on them. I think they're moving the same direction, but I think they've kind of taken a turn. To me, Google is a short, as you might be able to tell because I went short on Google. But it's because we did have these kind of failed wicks to the upside here at 176. So I said, I like the idea of trying a short here. We're bouncing off the 90 MA. If we break decisively into that 167.0, 176.05, that's where I'm gonna have to say goodbye. But for me, Tesla, I initially clearly thought it was a short. Then I tried to go long here, and then Tesla pops up 40 cents. I was like, okay. But yeah, to me, I think right now Tesla could be curling here at 60s, in which case I'll take it short with its bestie Google. But you're right, like I think there is
I wasn't saying they were long.
Pardon?
I was saying that they look
similar.
similar.
I wasn't saying, like, I was just saying I think they look similar, but they're kind of veering off a little bit. That's that was what my kind of thing was. But as I say that, now I think actually Tesla could be a short. So I don't know. It's an interesting look, but yeah, I like that you pointed that out because they are moving very similarly. And the Apple and Meta similarity, I also had on watch mostly because they're both rangy. But yeah, how is that Apple going?
We're out of the money on this Apple trade for the last remaining amount. So if we get stopped out above the break of 189.72, will we be positive on it? Let's find out. Let's have a look quick right here. We are still positive on the dead one. So whether this one gets triggered out, we're going to be positive because the amount we took out here was a little bit bigger, but I'm still packing my patience. It hasn't triggered me out, so I'm not going to really look at it at the moment. Let's go over some of the small cap gappers that we have on the day. I already showed you guys OKLO, still holding that for the remaining amount as it continues to kind of dance at 780, really doing nothing. This one kind of started moving nicely though, right as I sat down. This one was actually moving into highs as I loaded it up. RENB, nice mover on this one. This is a $212 million market cap. It's done 2.33 million shares on the day, and it has 110 million share float. Let's find out what the short float is on this bad boy, RENB. It is negligible, but 2.1% of the float is shorted. So we'll keep eyes on this one. It's been really respecting the 10 period on the 5 quite well. If you set up a dip trade at the 10, you've printed. It has never even touched the 20, nor has it closed anything below the 10 period. All the 10 period touches have been wicks and bounces. So RENB, even though the volume a little bit suspect because it is a $1 name, it is holding up from a technical Spence, calm down, quite well. BCG, also a decent look on this one. Printed highs at 775. This one retraced into the 20, so a bit of a deeper retracement. Dancing with VWAP right now at 6 3/4, but 7 3/4 is the high day. This one's still putting in higher lows, so it's still in play and it's still above VWAP. FFIE continuing to feature in the small cap gapper world after giving back a little bit of those profits. Yesterday, this guy's was 14 pennies about a week or two ago, so the fact that it's above $1 right now is still pretty good. It's got a decent love affair today with the 20 period on the 5. All the closing prints have been north of the 20 subsequent to the bell ringing. It is now, though, kind of coming down into it a little bit more, putting in lower highs as we speak, but still respecting the 20 at about $1.25 there on FFIE. That's the only 4 that I've got on the day, actually. I don't have too many more. I know Luis was covering one that I think gave back the ghost today, ONMD. Yeah, here it is. ONMD Ram is the one that we were looking at earlier there with Luis on the morning. And this one got $1.66, just reclaimed VWAP again. There's obviously a buyer in this 110 to 115 area. Look at all these bottoming tail candles that come into that area, all of which got bought up on ONMD. But, it's slugging along here. I feel like the momentum's really dropped off from this one. So we'll keep eyes on this one.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go short Tesla, whatever, I like the look. And I did like the look, and then I was like, Darren, I respect this, probably doji candle. Got out, lost 10 pennies, I just was like, I do not have the vibe for this. But Google, this short, I still feel wonderful about. And I want to explain why. So I know we had this big bullish push, I know we're bouncing off the 90 MA every single time. We get to 175.95, Google's like, no, thank you. And I'm like, okay, Google, I can respect that. No problem with me. I don't want to add to this because I have a decentish size already and I don't want to add for the sake of adding. That's another thing that got me chopped up on yesterday's ill-fated Moderna disaster. But Google, I think we could be coiling for a move higher, but right now I still feel comfortable in the trade, so I think I owe it to myself to stay in. Tesla, that was a bit of a mess up, but I'm really happy with how I got out because the second I saw that pop of the viciousness, I just said, Adara, cut the dang cord. So nice look there, but I have to say, it's crazy how similar Tesla and Google look to each other. Like I definitely, because I will say at 1.2, I had my Tesla up and I saw the pop up and I was like, oh no, my Google short. So the charts are a little bit indistinguishable. Also because they're around the same price. Tesla 176.89, Google 175.91. So very similar in terms of price here are Google and Tesla. Now that I'm looking at this, this actually could be a 5-minute bull flag here from that pop up. But I still feel okay in this short, so I want to be cognizant of the factors that are making me think it could switch long, but I also do like the look of the short. Let's take a look at Mara, because I'm seeing some looks at Mara. So yeah, Mara having a nice little recovery from the bottom here. I know a lot of people looking at this one. Quite a bottom for here, forming at 20. Now Mara wants to know if 21 can do something for it. So let's find out if 21 can indeed do something for Mara. Not a lot of chart patterns here, just up, 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 up. We bounced above VWAP with a viciousness. If we come back to test anything, it could be that 2063 because that was a bit of a chop and turn level here coming off the open. But right now, Google, if you want to search for a lower low, someone would be very happy indeed. Also, this NVDL is making me, I don't know. Right now we're continuing to push higher, but I think it might be nice to have NVDL shorts just in case. How are you looking on your trades?
I just got my NVDL shorts. Vis-a-vis the Neil hooking me up 1/8 of a cent. So, you know, they broke the bank. So we're going to keep eyes on NVDL. I'm not going to jump into it super quick. Obviously, this is going to be more of a scalp because it is a pretty obvious counter trend trade, given that this monster is up 10.2%. It's a $1,000 name. So, you know, if I take anything on this, it's going to be super quick and off technical resistance. So obviously we see here 1047 and a quarter HOD at the moment. We have a multitude, I was going to say plethora, but there's other adjectives for that, into this level, a multitude of topping tail candles coming into this 10047 or thereabouts. So if you're looking for a scalp on this, I mean, it's interesting, but what I see here is a series of higher lows with a flat top, and you know what that means when the trend that preceded it was to the upside, possible flat top breakout through that level. So we'll see exactly what we get on NVDA, but it's nice to have those bad boys ready for when I need them, if I need them. All right, so I'm happy that I packed my patience with Apple, even though I was well out of the money. I think I was out of the money about 10 or 15 pennies because it did come back into VWAP and then reject again. So did another wick shimmy into the VWAP like it has at 1035, 1040, 1105, 1110, 1120, and yeah, 1125. It's all rejected off the volume weighted average price. That doesn't mean that it has to be there for the rest of the day, but I'll continue to see the technical resistance there and try to play off it. So if it makes another move back in there, I could be persuaded to add to this Apple position. But what it is now breaking a little bit higher incrementally and looking a lot better than Apple for a long is AMZN. So look at this rounded bottom that it's putting. We don't have the lower highs like we do on AAPL. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. We're getting higher highs here on the zone. So initially when we started the show, the high of this local area was at 183.40, and we've been incrementally making our way higher into 183.70. So AMZN putting higher lows and higher highs, but it is kind of trying to reject a little bit off this 50 on the 5, so we'll see if that's a thing or it means nothing. But AMZN curling a little bit here. Yeah, that's really all I'm looking at. Looking at Apple at these levels. I'm looking at, obviously, NVIDIA for a possible short, but I'm not going to jump into that really quick. And I have to say, I really like your Google short, man. And the reason I like that Google short is because look at the move through the 20. So initially, it was hugging the 10. It had that dalliance with the 10 on the 5. And then once the 10 broke, you know, it went out with its older cousin, the 20. And the 20 is rejecting it as well. So 176-ish area here, price action, but rejecting off the 20 on the moving averages.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I know a lot of people in the chat thinking like, hey, make Google long. And I have said I totally do see the aspects. And thank you for going over that 20 and 10 relationship. I think one thing with the Google that I do see right now, we're kind of resting on the 9. We also do have that kind of bullish wick down here. And we had a pseudo bull flag on the 5-minute. But what I'm seeing is every time we get to the 175.95, Tesla's or Google's like, no, No, I don't want it. And if it's gonna have that, well, as I say that, Google's like, oh, Adara, I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm like, okay. We break decisively above 176.5s. I'll get out. But yeah, also the thing for me too as well is, and I really appreciate you calling out the similarities between Google and Tesla, because now I've been playing them against each other. Because when they're moving initially similarly, when the chart patterns are so similar that, no joke, I had the Tesla trade up and thought I lost on my Google trade because I thought it was the same chart. When they're moving so similarly and then you start to see something different, that's something to note. This Tesla, when I started noticing we had these pops here where I thought Google was getting weaker, then I said, Adara, play them off each other. Play that distinct difference, shout out to Obi. Because if they do look so similar and then you start to see a little bit of a change in the tides, to use a Sharifism here, I want to play off that. I wanted 88s. I don't think I'm getting 88s. So we might have to just get 75s here and be pleased as punch, which I am, because, you know, I haven't had the best rate on Tesla today. I initially thought we were going to be short that 176.60 because we kept projecting it, tried it, did not work, and I eventually had to give up the short bias on Tesla. I'll keep going long these little baby pops like that. If that's the strategy to play on Tesla, which lately in the last little bit it looks like it has been, then that's the strategy I'll play. I have no qualms about that. One thing I'm also trying to work on as well is I know a lot of people were mentioning yesterday, and I appreciate this, like, hey, you know, sometimes you have the right idea, you just don't stay long enough. My thing is, when I stay long, I pay per hand. That is just like a fact. Like if I'm gonna trade for longer than a second, it'll do really well, and then I just panic and stay in it. And so because of that, that's why I feel like I do scalp a little bit more. But that being said, if there's a range I really like that I wanna stay in, that's when I'll stay a little bit longer, and that's why I have been waiting patiently for Google instead of scalping out these 10 penny moves. I do want
all the smoke.
Yeah. Also, Kyle Burdett, 199 super chat here for join $TACH, TACHE, so new ticker there.
Yeah, because of the dollar sign. Thank you, Big Kyle Burdett. Big Kyle, you're a good luck charm, because the second that super chat came through, we got filled at the $quarter on the dead one there. So keep sending those super chats, Big Kyle. Well, no, don't. You know, keep them on your side there.
Are you long Apple now?
I'm not. Am I? No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I was. Actually, thank you, because the stop had more shareage, so that did nothing really. Oh, I actually made money on that.
Nice.
But yeah, there we go. So it did come into the $quarter there, and we did get out of the AAPL trade. So Apple headed down, as I was just mentioning. Amazon headed up. It is headed for that 184 level. So the similarities that we pointed out between these four over here starting to, you know, fade away. It's starting to become Amazon and Meta looking a lot similar to each other. Both are putting higher highs and higher lows on this little ascent. The dead one and the soft one are very either consolidative or heading down. So look at this. So they both have that double bottom-ish pattern over here, but Apple coming into 189 again, and Amazon rejecting 432 for the umpteenth time. Over here, you'll see we've been rejecting said level since the start of the show at 11. So 432 acting as a local level of resistance. Not the case on Meta, not the case on the Zon. So we'll keep eyes on those ones. And thankfully, I did not use the shorts that Neil was so kind enough to secure for me for NVDL, because as I did, a new high of day came into play on the monster. $1,048.96 now is the high of day on NVIDIA. Could we see 1,100 today? I mean, I don't know, I don't want to say anything, but anyway, so I won't be shorting this unless there's really something there for me. I'm going to need to see a clear technical pattern, whether that's a series of lower highs and lower lows. I'm not going to be guessing at, you know, areas that I like. Oh, the $50 level. Oh, this level. No. I'm not going to do that. It's going to have to show me technically that there is a pattern in play, and then I'll look to get into the pattern. Otherwise, this is a long. It's just I hate punching in at highs on these longs. So, okay, now we're going to start looking for the long on NVDA here, because this thing's got no breaks, baby. $1,040 is the 20 period on the 5, and the last deep retracement we made, you guessed it, was a double bottom at set 20 at the level that Adara pointed out, $1,035. You can see it held up there, which also happened to be that lovely yellow on my chart, which is a 20 period moving average. Otherwise, it's really respected the 10, which is the green solid line. Look at this thing go. Here comes 1,050. Unreal. The monster continues to print Jensen and his boys. They be making all the money, baby. So we'll keep eyes on NVIDIA. Definitely not shorting that monster at the moment. I'm trading NVDL, by the way. Back to OKLO, sorry, Adara. Came into 790. I still haven't gotten out. I'm seeing a rounded bottom here. I'm packing my patience.
Yeah, no, still looking at Tesla, happy with where I got out of Tesla. I think Tesla is consolidating and figuring out what it wants to be when it grows up, so I don't want to mess with its, development. But I still like that 176.60 to 176.90. I still think this is a level. I did get a Google. I think a lot of people in the chat it seemed like a lot of people in the chat were long Google or hoping Google would go up. So shout out to you guys. It did end up going up. I still like the idea. I'm proud I sat in it for as long as I did because I usually don't do that. And I got out where I needed to get out. So no complaints from me. Now we have this breakout. So go Google, putting the go in Google. Nice look there. Searching for some more upside. Let's take a look at CLSK as well, seeing Tom H mention some of these crypto-related names. Okay. Hi, CLSK. This is interesting. We're getting kind of a similar look to Mara, though I think Mara was a little bit more of a flat bottom here around 20s, and CLSK is more, also Mara is already tilting back, and CLSK is continuing forward. But CLSK could run into a bit of an issue here at the 1770, because that was an area we chopped and turned around a little bit earlier. So, sure. And as I say, that CLSK is like, what do you mean a bit of an issue? Just continuing to push higher. So nice look there for CLSK. Yeah, Hafid, I'm not involved in NVIDIA yet because I haven't seen, I'd be trading NVDL just because I apparently, we could not afford NVIDIA, but also because I want to wait for an area I really, really like. For me, that 1035 was the level on NVIDIA. That's where I should have gotten involved, but also I scalp a little bit more as well. And Sharif also just mentioned NVDL. So I think there will at some point, if we see stuff we like, of course, we will be trading it. But you don't want to go chasing waterfalls. You know what I mean? Chasing waterfalls. But yeah, so shout out to TLC. And I don't think this market needs any TLC, though. This market looks pretty healthy so far today. Let's take a look at ELF, because Ike Anderson was saying, shout out to Sean's wife, because Sean was saying his wife was like, I like ELF. And then ELF moved up like 20%. So congrats to you, Ike Anderson. This is a great look. We kind of looked like we were in a bull flag, and ELF's like, I'd rather just continue to the upside. So great foundation here for ELF. That was a makeup pun. Continuing here to the upside. A couple wicks that do look a little bit scary, but we continue to push to the upside. This is a great uptrend here. I want to see what we do here. We're getting to this 187 area. We kind of wick up a little bit. So this could be a bit of an area of resistance, but it looks like we're continuing to push to the upside. Level I liked on ELF was that 180, which is where we had a little bit of that struggle to get above that we bounced. So that's a nice look if we come back there. What else is going on? Okay, Apple. I like this Apple high or low on Apple. That long you accidentally got into was a nice look.
No, right? Can I mention Dell super quick? West y'all wants me to have a look at Dell. Asked him for a day trade or intraday trade or investment. I think he mentioned intraday trade. So here it is. We're at the WAP right now. Rejecting off it. We're dancing to it. We're still putting in the higher lows, holding that 10 period off that. What was that? 153.43 LOD, 162.71 HOD. But as you'll see, this is yesterday's price action. We were south of 150 yesterday. In fact, at the afternoon, we got all the way into 146-ish. And today we print 162. Guys, Dell didn't move like this before. This is AI specific. It's data center specific. It's AI server specific. We all saw the CEO of Dell sitting first row, got the point, got the nod from Jensen, called him out by name, had him sitting there. So this is orchestrated in the way it feels. So anyway, we're at VWAP right now. Can't really break VWAP. What I'd be looking for here is to see how this resolves. Do we curl back down, or do we reclaim the level? Depending on how it resolves, then we can make a decision as to how to take this, whether long or short. DELL up 7.04%, was up much higher at the highs, but that double top there at 162-ish and change sent it all the way down to 153. So almost a $10 move there, $9 and change off the highs. So great look for Dell today. But Wes, I tell you, I'm going to have to, my trading style here, I'd wait to see how this resolves. I wouldn't want to guess. You have a 50-50 shot here, whether this breaks or holds at VWAP, right? So I guess pack your patience for that. Otherwise, yeah, let me know how it goes. So that is a look there on DELL. Back to OKLO, showing 88s here, so nothing new. It hasn't triggered my stop. My stop's been in place, so I'm going to pack my patience, see if we can reclaim 8. It's up 10% now, so not a bad look. OKLO. Meta's really going here, guys. It really did curl up. Now it's in positive territory off that double bottom of 466, 465, or thereabouts. What is this current level on Meta? Do we have any price action resistance anywhere around here? I got to tell you, there is really no price action resistance at this particular area. Not until maybe that 472 area, and I wouldn't even put too much stock into that. I would be looking more for 473.5 to 474. Those are the highs that we put in yesterday. Otherwise, we're kind of in no man's land here. A good long would have been off this break, this neckline break here, taking that 469 and 2/3 long possibly. But yeah, I didn't have eyes on that, so I'm not going to pretend like I would have traded that. I wouldn't have. Anyway, so keeping an eye on Meta, it's really changing its tune here, so to speak, headed to the high side off that double bottom. Similar look for the Zon, but, you know, a little bit of a weaker 184 rejection right now on AMZN. It did break it nicely. We'll see how Amazon does. I don't want to say it's going to retrace off here. No trades for me at the moment, except OKLO at the moment, and keeping my eye on, well, I was going to say NVIDIA 1050, but here it is. Did you see this?
No.
1049.99.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, that 50, I was like, I'm not going to take anything off the $50 level. That's not, right? Like, but yeah, there you go. 1,049.99 HOD. So 1 penny off that level. So obviously somebody's waiting around there.
Yeah, if we bounce off 47s, that's where I would go long on VDL, because look at all these wicks into 47s. To me, that's a pretty clean look.
Well, yeah.
If we bounce off those 47s. So.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we'll have to. I don't know if we will. That's like kind of too picture perfect, but that's what I like. Apple, it's like, Adara, this is why I said I need to stop, because I always want to try holding for moves, right? And I do appreciate everyone yesterday saying, like, there were a couple of Tesla trades where if I'd held, you know, that would have been the right play. But then we have this Apple. I like this push, and I had the instinct to scalp out at 189.33, which would have been, yes, only like a 9 penny winner, but it would have worked. This is where we, for some reason, kept butting our head against. So I was like, you know what, Adara, just do that. Like, I think I need to understand. I want to be the type of trader that can hold things for moves, but I just know I'm not that person. And I know that's also not how I predicate my trades on scalps. I predicate my trades on ranges, right? So if that's how I have that mindset, I need to honor that mindset, I think. And so I think I just need to go back to the scalp, because if we had done back to the scalping here, we would have been out of this trade. And instead, Apple is chilling like a villain, a little bit below our area of entry, sad face. But let's see what we do. If we bounce off 10s, I'll stay in this. Initially, the goal was 40s, half the position, rest the position out if we break above VWAP. But I don't know what we're going to do here. If I see another rejection of 33s, I'm getting out everything there. I really need to be true to myself as a trader. And it's like I said, every time I try, and believe me, I wish that I could hold for those moves. I just always feel like I paper hand them. And I just, you know, you want to make sure you get that profit. That's always nice.
Okay.
Tesla continuing to push to the upside. I was going to keep playing that off the 60s, but I just, you know, didn't feel 100% confident in it, which is why I didn't. But if we get a bounce off 90s here or 99s, that was an area I really like for Tesla, so that's something I'd watch. NVIDIA, how are you doing? Oh, Tesla actually probably did give me that bounce, so okay, Tesla, I see you. Yeah, NVIDIA does not care about my 1047 level, which is fine. Apple also literally does not care about my feelings. I know stocks aren't supposed to, so it's all good. But yeah, that Tesla is, this Tesla bounce might be the one to watch, and I might have to just extricate myself from Apple, because Apple, I do not think, wants me here in any way, shape, or form. And I do think that I just needed to be scalpier with this. So Apple, you get back to 189.33s. Let's get that Steve Jobs done. That's what I want.
2 New York cents wants to know about Snow. He's like, look, it's at VWAP. What's the look here? Is it long or short, Ram? And I got to tell you, it looks like it might be a long, because here's what we were doing. What happened?
Ramin told me a funny joke.
Oh, is that why she was Okay, I
Yeah,
figured.
that was really
I'm like,
funny.
why is she flipping to the thing? It went through the volume weighted average price a little bit earlier here. What time was that? Around 10:30 or so. Rejected off that level. Was also the 50 as well. So it kind of looked like it might have been a 50 rejection really, because it popped back in again here and it rejected off the 50. Now that's all over. It took the 50 over here at around 11:20, and now it is pamping through the volume weighted average price. Keep your eye out for that 160 level. We had a little bit of an issue with that level earlier. That was on the move down there at 9:37 or so. This is a 1 minute look. So keep your eye on the whole dollar, the $10 level, 160. But yeah, it looks like it really has taken VWAP here. It broke above this level. And so this could be an interesting retracement. Let's do a little bit of a move using fibs. So if we were to look at fibs here and say, all right, you know, this one really started tanking right at the bell. It missed earnings, this, that, and the other. What's the retracement percentage? So right now we're at 76.4%. So, you know, sometimes you make it back into that 61.8. That's around 62. It looks like it's coming back down a little bit now. So we'll continue to watch Snowflake. I don't really have any trades on it at the moment. Just wanted to mention it for 2 New York cents. I'm continuing to watch NVDA and NVDL. If we get a 1050 break on a closing basis, I'm going to go long on NVDA. I've been looking to see if it, or NVDL, I've been looking to see if it kind of curls back down off that level, but it's actually putting bottoming tail candles off the previous area, the exact area that Adara was talking about, 1,047. It keeps wicking into that level and bouncing off. The equivalent area on NVDL will be around right here, 52.15, 52.16, in and around that area, and then it bounces right back up. So good luck. The monster continuing to be strong on the day, not really giving it up here at all. In fact, it's printing day's highs. So keeping an eye on that. Not much else for me at these levels. Let's flip back to Oklo, doing nothing. It's having trouble with 90 now. So that's another new observation here, that it's coming into that 10 penny level and rejecting. So possibly, oh, there is some decent size here at 102. Sorry, at 90. There's about 102 lots sitting there on one book on the New York, on the NSB. Sorry, I thought that was NYB. So we'll see if it can break above 790. If it does, it could probably really squeeze, because that's been keeping it down for a while, Adara.
Yeah, we don't want anything keeping Oklo down. Nobody can break my stride, and nobody hold me down. Uh-oh, Apple, keep on moving, like, please. But no, so I ended up staying in this because I did look at it. I was like, I think rationally, Adara, you're probably being a bit dramatic. Let's see it hit 1030, 189.33 is one more time. One more time, and it did. And so now we're getting beautifully close to my first area of exit. My first that was not English. My first profit taker, 189.40. We're going to be getting half the position out there. I actually will add again if we get back to that 189.33s, because I want to turn that level that I hated into a level of opportunity. Because if that was such weird resistance, I think that could also be a little bit of a support balance area. So please just punch half the position out. This is my only positive name right now, best name on the day. Yeah, not doing too badly on the day so far. Been able to mitigate these losses. Just looking for some opportunities, as always, in these here markets. Google as well. I did get a little bit chopped up on the short, but I'm really happy with how I played this. I waited until I had a clear reason to leave. I left when I wanted to. And now I'm seeing I might have an opportunity to add into the long. Because if we bounce here off these areas I liked, like these 10s, then I might have to add in a little bit, or not add in, I'm not even in the position. Might have to get into the position. But yeah, Apple right now is making me proud, which is not, you know, something Apple does a lot. We do jokingly call this one the dead one. You know, nothing, not anything against the company or the stock in the long term, but just because if you look at any of its pals in mega cap land, let's look at, for example, Meta. I'm not even going to compare NVIDIA. That's not fair to compare Apple to NVIDIA right now. Look at Meta, which also if Meta bounces off VWAP, I want to trade that. Look at this Meta. Look at Tesla. Like, these will all move dollars at a time. Apple will sometimes move cents within like a half-hour period, because that was actual experience I had where we moved less than 5 cents in either direction in a half-hour period. So this is a bit of a slow one. Swin, Brad Aldman says, yeah, I haven't. I've been having some issues with my blotter. I know this one's solid win, and I know this one has kind of had odd moves in the past. Can you see if there's anything on
I messaged him. I told him there was nothing.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, I told him I don't see anything on that. Like,
yeah,
look,
it's weird.
All I see here is halted on circuit breaker, halt paused, but nothing specific to the name. I told him, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you
worries,
for,
no worries.
for looking
Yeah.
into that. But yeah, I mean, I've seen that one move oddly in the past, that SWIN, so we'll have to see what's going on with SoloWin. Thank you, Tony, much appreciated. If we keep projecting on VWAP, we'll get everything out here, but I do like the fact that we have these higher lows. I think we could flat top break. And you know, Sharif and I talked about this. He knows I love those flat tops. If I see a flat top, I'm like, because I want to play that range up into that point, and then I want the breakout. Also, shout out to Rebecca Cower saying Adara should just sing the whole show. I mean, no, I probably shouldn't, but I appreciate that. I'm going to look as well for these updates on these Ethereum ETFs. So not seeing anything. U.S. lawmakers apparently urging Gensler to approve the spot Ethereum ETFs. So to clarify, we have the Van Eck deadline today. Tomorrow, we're going to be getting that ARC 21 shares deadline. That's going to be coming tomorrow as well. So we're going to have to wait and see. Apple also, I want to wait and see if you break up a VWAP. How are you doing in your
I'm crazy. I'm shorting NVDL here, but I've got one more penny to get stopped out. I thought we were kind of rounding top. We'll try this, and we'll keep a tight stop until some sort of trend happens here. Short at 19, so 10 pennies out of the money on NVDL short. Call them crazy, but that's what I'm doing at these levels. Meta continuing to head higher, man. Here comes 472 on Meta. That double bottom is we're looking awfully good at this level, and you know that's the thing. We saw possible double bottoms on some other ones, but really Meta and Amazon are kind of the only ones really manifesting it clearly. I feel like Meta is definitely the better trade of the two. They were looking very similar earlier. Now, not so much. So we'll keep eyes on that. All right. Let's look at some of these other names that are recovering. Look at Google on the way back here into the 50 period. So Google wants to go green. So I'm going to be really interested here on Google for a possible short at 176.74 thereabouts. Reason is that is not only the pivot point, but that is the yesterday closing price on Google. Is it? Actually, yeah, there it is. So let me just move that down. So Google closed at 176, yeah, 40-ish, which is also pivots. So let's see if Google can make it all the way up there. If it can, I'm going to definitely be watching for a possible short. I'm going to put an alert to let me know if it gets into the high 30s. That's only about 20 pennies, 13 pennies away from here at the moment. So goggles on the way to possible break-even land here, down 0.09%. But yeah, we won't be jumping into that too quick there on GOOGL. I did get stopped out of that NVDL short as it broke through 31. So that was my line in the sand there at 31. So we'll watch to see if we can possibly, I don't want to short this again, man. That's just counter to my trading strategy. Go with the trend, Sharif. Go with the trend. So, and I have a little thing that Big Patty Ice gave me. Oh, I know you guys can't read this, Raymond. No, go to this one. It says, don't fight the trend. I don't know if you can read that, but that's what it says. Put it on which one? Oh, yeah, okay. That's not a bad idea, Raymond. Don't fight the trend.
That's in all caps.
He meant it. He meant it, Adara. BPI on the ones and twos, baby. Always giving me a nice pre-show pep talk. Always giving Adara and I, good words of encouragement there. Before the show, after the show, it's all love on this floor, Adara.
He's your espresso bro. Yeah, your espresso bro. Yeah, Charlie Taff, we do have, asking sub. Yeah, not much. Both Apple and Tesla are sub, so I'm okay with that. But also, yeah, in terms of your question with regards to data points, we have Fed's Bostic at 3. We also do have that TIPS auction coming in at 1 p.m. So that is going to be something to watch. Nothing else, though, in terms of economic data land. Also, I want to talk about this because I'm happy with these trades. Tesla, I kept saying, oh, I like that 90 area. I like that. It's like, Adara, take the 90 area. So I took the 90 area, please just punch. If we break into 70s, that's where I would have been getting out. And when I want to say 70s, I should clarify 176 70s. Please just punch with this trade. Apple, I'm so happy I held on to this right now. We are, where did we get in this? We're almost 40 pennies in the money on Apple. Woo! So I'm pleased as punch. I want to see us break above this 60s area and hold it. If not, I'll just get out here and I'll have no qualms. But I want to appreciate, thank you so much everybody for encouraging me yesterday, just being like Adara. Sometimes you have to commit to the trades a little bit more and stay in them if you like them. And for this Apple, I did have, hoop dreams of this going a little bit higher. So I'm happy. Shout out to that movie for some reason. But, I did like this look. I don't like what we're doing now, so I'm just going to get out of this right now in mid-50s, around 53, 54s if we can get there. Please just punch. But really just happy that I stayed in this as long as I did. Wish I had punched out a little bit higher. It's a little bit sad, Apple. But You know, I'm not going to let that damp my spirit. I say Pample to Apple. Also, Stripe discovered yesterday there's a PAPL, like a Papple.
Yeah, what was that stock?
I don't even
Good
know.
call,
It was
PAPL, Pineapple Financial.
Oh, so that would be Neil's nemesis.
Neil would not bank there. No, he likes pineapple, just not on pizza.
That's true.
He's made that point. Yeah, he's told us. All right, goggles is coming into my level, and let's have a look at goggles now. So where are we at here? There it is. All right, the reason I put an alert here for Google, 176.42 is the closing print from yesterday. So I like this level, and it is kind of an unproven level, but we're going to go ahead and take the short at this level, and then I'm going to put my stop a smidge above VWAP. So that's going to have to give myself here about 20 pennies worth of space, because VWAP on my chart is at 55s. So let's see what we get with goggles. We'll give this one the old college try, so to speak. We're short 33s. Let's go ahead and put the out at 57s, and we'll look to cover there. So we'll give it to 60 in case it gets really parabolic there. 176, right? Yeah. And yeah, we'll see there. So the other area of support is at 20. So let's go ahead and put a beak wetter for that 21 area or thereabouts. So we'll see what goggles gives us. Again, reason I'm getting short at these levels is because it's coming into yesterday's closing print. So maybe if we can at least get a quick rejection and drop, we'd be looking there. But I'm noticing there may be the winds of change coming here on the market. So the futures just broke through that 18, let's say 18,915. There was a bit of a top there, I gotta say, right at this level over here. You can see that earlier on, 10:15. This is Central Time. Then again at 10:35 and 10:40, we had that level. We danced with it again over here. Now we're curling back up on a closing basis, breaking through it. So if that's any indication, then goggles could continue to head higher here if it moves with the market. You're also seeing that on Apple. Apple now breaking through that volume weighted average price. VWAP on my chart is 189.50. It just printed all the way into 69s. So that is a good look. It's also putting in these higher lows. So maybe, just maybe here, the short may be over. I don't know. I'm not calling it or anything, but it'll have to prove itself. We're getting short, though, at said level on goggles. Already short at 33s. 1 penny out of the money at the moment. Adara.
Yeah, no, go get that Google.
Goggles.
Yeah, hope that you know, doesn't have to Google search too hard for that level. Nice look there. TSLA is on one. It's having this bizarre wick shimmy dance. And, you know, we'll get to like, I got in 176.94. I have no problem with that entry price. I like that entry price. What I don't like is the level of indecision I see on Tesla. We pop up to 177.10s. We pop down to 177. Oh, we pop up to 170. Oh, no, we're popping back down. Like Tesla, make up your mind. Sincerely, Adara. I did get out of Apple a little bit early. I'm going to be really honest. We did pop about like another 15 pennies from where I got out, but I'm still proud of what I did with this trade. If we bounce off VWAP again, I will get in again. And yeah, I think the issue is I should have held. I did panic sell a little bit, but I think I did want to secure the profits because we were kind of coming down with a speed I didn't really like, down from that 60s. Should have been more patient. That's something I want to learn from, but I am really proud of what I did with the trade regardless. And thank you so much to everybody in the chat for the support. So happy to be here and be a part of this community. Let's take a look at Palantir. Because I know Sean was involved. I don't know if involved, but I know he was looking at this one earlier. And Palantir, oh, Palantir also singing 21. Can you do something for me? Because we're knocking on the door of 21s here. 2097. This is interesting. We had Palantir. It seems like it does not really know what it wants to be when it grows up. We had to move to the downside, kind of ratcheting to the downside. Then we pop up beautifully above 21s. We pop and then we go back down. We're right below the VWAP now, kind of dancing near that 9 EMA. This could be an interesting look. I don't have a ton of levels on this, though. I think we kind of want to make that higher highs, but to me, this roundy top, in confluence, the fact that we're generally down on the day, is giving me a few mixed signals. But yeah, I mean, shout out to anyone who's still long. Apple, that was a great look. Tesla continuing to go up a little bit here. Jason Walcott, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Let's get it indeed. Wanting to look at Hood. Hood about to come into key level at 20? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Yeah, hopefully, I don't know if we'll have like enough answers to justify like 3 question marks, but I'll try. I'll do what I can. Hood is not on the New Mexico Stock Exchange. Okay, Derek, come on. NQ, that's what we want there. There we go, we got this. Robin Hood. Oh, okay. Okay, so I think it could do that for sure. I think we did, of course, get a little what could be a bit of a what the topping tail candle here, and I think what's also interesting is we're getting this topping tail candle here at 1985. Great song, great year, and also a great level here for Robinhood. If you look at what we did in the pre-market, look at this kind of level of support. I think what we do here could be a little bit pivotal. We clearly struggled to get above this 1985. Now we're struggling to hold this 1985. So I want to see what we do at 1985 on Robinhood. But if we break above into 20s, I think I'm going to be honest, I don't really know if 20 is a huge key area for me on Robinhood on this intraday chart, beyond the fact that it is the $20 level. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think for me that 1985, pushing above that would be an even clearer look. But in terms of the overall long case, I mean, starting at the open, we continue to kind of push to the upside. I love that support at 1943. Let's see what we did on the daily. Fist pump for Sharif. Yeah. So I want to hear about that. But yeah, for me, even on the daily, I'm not going to be honest, I don't see 20 as a huge level. I think this 1985, though, could be kind of pivotal. And then above that, I don't know if we'll get to 21, 31s on Robinhood, but that's another level I like. But I also like Sharif pumping his fist. So what happened?
Yeah, we're long on NVDL, about 25 pennies in the money or so on this name. Let's see if it'll hold. It did a topping tail candle, which looked awfully bearish, breaking through that 1,050 area. And then the next candle, the closing print held the 10, so I'm like, go long. So punched long on that one. It's moving up here. We're nicely in the money. I just don't want to cover it because I feel like, you know, we're probably going to see something maybe in the 1,060s. We'll see. I'm just going to pack my patience and hold on to this. Printed on goggles as well for a nice 15 penny winner, but it's coming right back into my area here as I suspected. So this is the end of the trade for me on Google because I feel like it is. The market is, the winds of change are coming on the market. You can kind of feel. Maybe not all at once, but there's a lot of curling up here and a lot of rounded bottoms on these Mag 7 names. So I don't want any of this short smoke anymore. So covering that, took a quick scalp on it, lost 2 pennies on the remaining balance, so sucks to be me. Let's go back to NVDL here and see what we're doing. We're nicely in the money on this one. Let's see if it can continue to pump up here. A lot of topping tail candles through this $50 level. It's kind of unsure whether or not it's going to break through that level. And I'm seeing a little bit of roundedness at the candles on or near, excuse me, that 1,050 level. You didn't see this a little bit earlier, right? Well, actually, I stand corrected. You saw it over here, right at pivots, that level that Adira identified, that 147, sorry, that 1047 level, that was clearly, you know, a rounded top. We came back into the 20, and it looks like we're doing it again. So I'm packing my patience on said NVDL. Let's see if we can scalp more. Okay, now we're 30 pennies in the money on it. So let this bad boy go and see what else we can do with this monster. Thank you. NVDL, and by the way, NVIDIA, 1,051.96, essentially a 1,052 HOD. We're 49 1/3 right now. So if there's any correlation between the current price action on NVDA and NVDL, if we go back into highs, this should break into the 60s or 50s on NVDL, 52.60s or 52.50s. We'll see exactly what we get on these bad boys. I just got signed out of my chat. Why does that happen?
It's being
midday?
very rude. That's
yeah. It's so kind of. Anyway, what are you looking at? Just so I can sign back in.
Yeah, I mean, congrats on your
you.
trades. That's awesome. NVDL there. An NVDW on NVDL. I love the snowflake, and this is a huge example of just timing and conviction or everything. I was looking at this and I was like, Adira, there's a bit of a spread, like blah, 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 blah. And then I decided to punch in. I wanted to get in at 159.01s. I was going to risk into 30s, and I wanted minimum like around that 160 area, so I was like okay with that. So not risking into 30s, I was going to risk into like 70s, so I was risking 30 cents. And then snowflake pops to the upside. I don't want to get involved in this long now because I think this was kind of a little bit of a pop and drop, pump and dump, if you will, on this 5-minute candle. So I want to see if we keep holding up at 159s, don't mind if I do. But if we don't hold up, don't mind if I don't. I might take it short there. I do love that 159 level. Right now it's coming to confluence of VWAP, but I started liking it earlier when I just noticed that we got here, wicked up, and then fell. I said, Adira, this could be an interesting level. And it is on my knockoff dollar store brand sticky note, which is just a document that I have levels I like on. So that's really what I've kind of been looking at here on this snowflake. Let the snowflakes fall where they may. Also, I want to talk about Tesla. I'm so happy with how Tesla went. I This never happened. I'm really proud of this wick we got here. So I got out here because we had this massive pop, and also that reminds me, I'm happy I got out of Apple where I did, because I would not have been able to trade Apple and Tesla in the same time where they're moving basically in opposite directions. We had that nice pop up, and Tesla was like, oh, how upset should I be about Apple? And Apple's like, not at all. I just kind of died. So I was like, okay. Apple drops here, Tesla pops here, and I got out at 30s because I did like what we had earlier, that bit of area of resistance, especially in confluence with VWAP. I said Adara, just de-risk here, just get out. So I was pleased as punch with that. I had a bit of a smaller position because I didn't have as good of a read on Tesla earlier today, so I wanted to account for that by risking a little bit less. But yeah, I mean, happy with this. Right now for me, the read on Tesla seems to be, and again, not advice, just what I'm seeing in this chart, a bit of a dip buy situation. So if we bounce again, I like that 77.10s area now, but again, we still know I like 77.9 or 76.9s. So there's the levels I'm looking for on T to the S, to the L to the A. But NVIDIA, we ended the NVIDIA there.
Yeah, I'm starting to notice like the market might get a little bit stronger. So what I'm really upset about is this Google trade. I should have absolutely been holding on to this. I thought the winds of change were coming on this name, and that's why we covered a little bit up there. Too bad. We'll look for the next trade now. What I'm seeing though is something very distinct on Microsoft. So this is really interesting. Look at what it's doing with the 50 period over here. Something's afoot. So you get that initial pop and reject at the 50 period, and now this 432 area seems to be meeting a wall of sellers, and I'm not really sure why, but these candles are quite indicative of that whole selling pressure. 432, anything making its way up there is being shorted immediately. How many topping tail candles do we have into that level? We've been essentially doing it since the start of the show, so going on an hour right now. Wow, on MSFT, so good luck there. This could absolutely curl back down. So I'm gonna have to load up Softy here if we're gonna go short on any of these Mag 7 names. It's really gonna be maybe Microsoft that does that is a good look at these levels. I don't want to jump in at this level though. So I'm going to look for something, a bounce up. Let's say, maybe it doesn't make it back into 432 because it's getting a little bit beyond it right now. Yeah, and it's breaking down as I speak right now. So sadly, I may have missed this. I think I might sit at the mid 80s or something like that for a possible pop. And there it goes all the way down. Yeah, so it looks like I'm going to miss this one. I'm going to go ahead and sit in the mid area over here to get short with the idea that I'll stop out if it breaks that 432.20-ish area. So that's what I'll do. I'll hang out here, look to get short on the soft one. It's been doing the same thing for about an hour. So that's a look there. Is Neil ready?
Yes, he is ready. So we've been doing the same thing for about an hour as well, but now we're going to switch it up, see what Neil has to say in his lesson of the day.
Oh, wow, Softy.
Welcome to the lesson of the day. First lesson of the day is pineapple's great. I heard you guys talking about this, and I don't hate pineapple. I love pineapple. It's just not good on pizza. No, but the lesson of the day here is going to be, hey, sometimes you're going to lose. I think it's just about what's the approach after a rough morning, a couple of days in a row now, majority of the ideas off the open, or at least one or two have really big losses relative to what you're used to. For me, NVIDIA yesterday, not as big on AMD, but it's still sort of the same kind of story. And how do you grind back? Yesterday was able to get most of it back. Today we'll have to see, only about 20% so far, position pending. But all you can do is go back to the basics. There's a question that got asked to me years ago, and it was a trader on the floor. And it was well, what happens when you go into a prolonged slump when you've been around for a while? It's okay, well, strip everything down to its bare bones, and then ask yourself, what's the one or two things that worked best for you, and then go over to that. And I feel when the morning goes haywire, or at least not to your expectations, or you don't necessarily trade the best, you want to go back into your basics. So first things first, what was that original plan, and is there anything still setting up in that regard? So I'll give you an example here with AMD, which technically was a bit of a missed opportunity, although I'm glad I didn't take it in complete hindsight. But AMD was looking for the sympathy play long on NVIDIA. NVIDIA showed strength off of the open. AMD held the pre-market bottom, which I liked. It held the pre-market low at the bottom. Bounces off 170, liked all of that. It ends up rejecting 173. Probably should have paid a little bit more attention to the fact that I had a resistance line there. More on that later, probably. I'm sure we'll talk about that in the afternoon show. But at that point, I tried to be patient, waiting for the dip buy, at our key support level at 168. Now here's where things get, at least I'm a little bit frustrated with it. 168 was the level we liked because it was this level on the 15-minute. Like, it was a previous resistance spot. If it was gonna bounce, okay, like you come back, try to fill in the gap, bounce off that gap, fair enough. So once this has gone completely not the plan, which is you want it stair-stepping up with NVIDIA, it's now broken down, okay, fine, you're up on the stock, you may take a shot. Goes to my level, I'm going to take a shot. Do not need to be getting involved diddling in the middle. Like, the last loss, there's no need for it. If you're going to take something, it's go back to what the basics are. For me, when you're looking at support and resistance, is it playing at a level that it's worth it to trade? And the answer was no, here at 67. I would wager that you could make an argument for 64. 160 will sort of speak for itself. Like, this is the 64 level, that's just yesterday's low. I think you can make an argument for that, although I'm glad I didn't take it, because I think the way I was going, I probably would have bungled that. I wouldn't have scalped enough out, and then I would have held or like reloaded or something silly, and then you're just gonna go lower. So going back to the basics means if you're a support and resistance trader, then only trade at support and resistance. The other thing that you can do in that situation is, you know, go back to your original plan in the day. Like, okay, well, the market's absolutely tanking. Is there anything that you completely wrote off because you didn't think you'd get those prices, and all of a sudden those prices start to come in? The answer was yes, and it was TSM. Now, I thought there was no chance we'd get back to 156 on TSM, not with the strength that NVIDIA had. And if you're wondering why 156 on TSM, there was a local high that it just broke out. Clearly, all of the chip names that benefited from that NVIDIA rally were going to be gapped up today. So I didn't think we'd have a chance to bounce off 156. Now, I did get a little bit impatient at VWAP there with an in and out. Thankfully, didn't like average in or hold on to it. That's how you get into trouble. But we waited for it to bounce off 156. Again, if your best trades tend to be off the big levels and then trying to see it bounce and then catch it to the upside, that's what we were able to play. Let it bounce off 156. Don't even sit in front of it. Once it bounces, jump into that long, and then just try to make it back little by little. It was very similar with Rivian and $10. Rivian has held $10 a couple of days in a row with wick bottoms. Once it breaks down, just let it get there. If that's what you do is wait for the key levels, then take a shot. And if it never gets to those key levels, so be it. Then maybe you don't take any trades. I mean, there was a point where I was flat. I didn't have any trades for about, it felt like 20 minutes is probably maybe a little bit less than that. And I was waiting for a few things to come in to key price levels so we could set up trades that we were actually going to like a little bit better. Now, sometimes that's gonna work. Other times, maybe you sit on your hands. But there's nothing wrong with sitting on your hands if you've had, say, a bad read or a bad little start to the day, or you find yourself in a little bit of a slump. End of the day, the market is going to open every single day there is in the holiday, there is in the weekend. It's going to provide a lot of different opportunities out there. So you've got to take the best to your own abilities. And the other thing, and this is sort of like a last sort of point, which I just want to make, it's not necessarily how to battle back, but it has more to do with getting cute. So sometimes, and I've said it with the meme stocks before, there are moments where it's easier to trade the follower instead of the leader. Whether it's like COS or AMC versus GameStop, we've done that before. Whether it's AMD or like ARM or something, when NVIDIA is moving, it happens, and there's a lot of times that that's good. There are other times where the actual thing that's going is the thing to be in. And I think NVIDIA was a pretty strong example of that today. And we called it the Super Bowl of earnings, you know, and ultimately it's the thing that's trending up. Now there's been great bounce plays that you're able to get as NVIDIA holding up has dragged some things with it. But, you know, there's often times that if you just keep it simple, the most simple thing is, well, NVIDIA is the one that blew it out. Once NVIDIA got past that 8% expected move, it just trended from there and continues to trend higher. So keeping it simple means going back to your best strategies, going back to your best levels, finding the setups that work for you. They might not be on the stocks you liked. Like the 4 stocks that I was on to begin the day were not the 4 stocks that I ended up on in the second portion, because you go to the setups that set back up again, and if the other ones don't, you just don't trade them. And then the last point, of course, just to recap it is, if the leader of the pack or the reason you're excited for the day is a certain stock. Sometimes it's just the one you want to trade, and whether it's NVIDIA or NVDL or whatever anybody's looking at, this has been the strength in the market when the market went to the downside. So just keep it simple. I know it's a tried and tested strategy or proven or something we say all the time, but it doesn't mean you always do it. That's the reality. Nobody, and I literally mean nobody, is going to sit there and be a robot and exactly follow their plan or be unemotional or not make a mistake or not get an early entry or not get FOMO or miss a stop or make a keystroke. All of these things will happen to you. But all you can do is understand what those mistakes are, reduce them to as close to zero as possible, and then go from there, because you're not going to reduce those things to zero. All you can do is next time the situation comes up, trade NVIDIA instead. Next time the situation comes up, recognize a little bit earlier the trend was going away on AMD. And then be patient, wait for your best setups, and then go from there. That's your lesson of the day. That's how you can rebound from a rough read or a rough morning, or even a rough set of days. I think the principles apply to whether you had a one-day hit or a 2 or 3 day hit. There you go, guys. That's your lesson of the day. Good luck the rest of the day trading.
Thank you very much, Neil. Eloquent, informative, and awesome. As always, Neil Roberts, every day, baby, around the noon hour. He drops his lesson of the day, so make sure you're around to catch that. Otherwise, you're going to miss it. Short the software net right now. I did fat finger, so I doubled my position, but I still like the position. So I'm trying to pack my patience here with the trade. I think I will be out of this if it breaks above 86, because that was the high of the other candle. So let's go ahead, put 431.88, and then we'll look to cover the entire position there. So I'm going to put in my stop. So the stop's in place already. I've already put my beak wetter at 60s. The idea here was to get short on the pop of the volume weighted average price, but I could get shaken out of this because this is a $400 name. So we'll see exactly what we get. It was putting in a rounded top. It had that nice break into that 431 and a quarter, a little bit below that actually, and then came right back up. So I said, look, this is my opportunity, but it looks like I will get stopped out here, which is fine. Because, well, that's kind of the nature of the beast, right? It will come up into my area, it looks like here, and break, and there we go. So I do get stopped out, and I got stopped out for double the share size that I typically wanted, which is okay. That's my fault. I fat fingered, but I still like this trade. So if it comes back in and starts doing the rounded top kind of thing, then I'm definitely going to get short on this bad boy again. Softy, in and around the volume weighted average price. Good look for me.
Yeah, I mean, shout out there for that Microsoft trade. Also shout out to Neil's lesson of the day. As always, he is the real deal, and he's here around noon every day, so come check that out if you want to hear Neil's lessons. Also, I got short PDD, and I want to talk about it because I know this looks, to put it mildly, a bit confusing, but I like the look. So basically, I realized, I got short at a VWAP bounce, but I got short at a VWAP bounce not because we bounced off VWAP, but because of the level we got to. That 156 on PDD. This was a level yesterday. It came to be a level today. We had a little bit of chop and turn getting there. Then we had this nice little bounce there. So I said, Adara, you owe it to yourself to try. I had this order in the second I saw us getting near it. I wasn't prepared for us to move into it with such a viciousness, mind you. But I said, I had a conversation with Sean about this after the market recap show yesterday. Also, he was talking to me yesterday. He said, Adara, conviction, that's a word that you care about in trading? I was like, yeah, I love conviction. I have so much conviction in this level. I said that really intensely, but I really do. If we break above into 156.30s with that kind of viciousness, that's where I'm going to have to get out. But I really like this look. I also took it with a few more shares, not a massive position, mind you, but enough shares. I think it's equivocal with how I feel about the position, and I feel very strongly about this position. I really do like this kind of move down here. I like that now we're curling down in this 90 MA. I'm going to take half out at VWAP, and I want to save a piece through the dream, which I might regret, but right now I don't. What are you looking at? I'm looking at Softy still, so same thing. In it again at these levels. So my level's going to change here. So I'm going to put it on the break of 432. So we'll see exactly we'll get with the share size that I wanted. So that's the good look there. So we'll go ahead and put our stop there on Softy, and my profit taker is already there. So we'll see exactly what we get there on Microsoft. But we do have a lesson of the day that we have to get to. So let's get to that right now. All right, so if this will maximize.
All right, scalping. We're talking about scalping with the measured move. We've been talking about scalping all week, so let's go ahead and finish off with, we're talking about the measured move all week, so let's go ahead and finish off with scalping. So scalping thrives on capturing tiny profits from frequent trades. Measured moves, when used strategically, can become your secret weapon for intraday scalping. Here's how to combine these powerful concepts. So let's just define what the measured move is. If you recall, we talked about this. It's a mathematical formula. We're not going to belabor that whole thing again, but just to tell you, imagine a stock surges $2 intraday. A measured move, often based on historical price retracement, estimates what the future support and resistance levels could be. So, in the particular case we're talking about here, a 50% retracement suggests a dip into about $1.50 before potentially resuming that uptrend. So what we're looking at is a system that shows us where to get the dip trades, whether for long or short, and where to look to take profit takers. That's really what this strategy helps us with. So super straightforward, right? Here's a 1, 2, 3, 4 step process. The first thing you're doing is you're identifying a strong trend. So what you're looking for here is scalping works best in trending markets. Use technical indicators like price action analysis or indicators and price action analysis to confirm an uptrend or downtrend. That's step number 1. Step number 2, you're going to spot the initial price move. So here you're going to look for a significant price move within the trend, for example, a sharp jump in an uptrend. Then number 3, you're going to calculate the measured move. So apply a retracement level, one that suits your trading style, 50%, whatever, on the fibs there. You're using it to estimate your potential support and resistance zones. And then step 4, your entry and exit positions. So for upward trends, you're entering a long position near the calculated retracement level. In the example we gave before, it was like $1.50. That's as the price dips. You'll exit shortly after the price bounces and shows signs of resuming the uptrend. For example, a small breakout above the retracement level. In a downtrend, you're going to enter a short position near the retracement level. For example, at that 150, if it was to pop back into 150 as the price rises. You're going to exit shortly after the price confirms a downtrend by breaking below the retracement level. That is the look there. Okay, but some key considerations that you have to take into account when you use scalping with the measured move is volatility is your friend, right? So measured moves work best in volatile markets with frequent price swings. They offer you more opportunities for scalping entries and exits, but you also got to use tighter stops with these bad boys, right? Scalping profits are small by their very nature, so use strict stop losses, place slightly above your shorts to limit losses on price drops, but also keep in mind that make sure to set up your stop and profit takers right after entering your position to make sure that you can get in and out according to your plan. So make sure to think about that. And you also want to manage risk. Scalping involves frequent trades, so risking a significant amount per trade can quickly drain your capital. Maintain good risk management practices. Can't stress that part enough. And here's some tips to help your scalping go further, baby. Combine the measured move with price action. I think that kind of goes without saying, but you should be looking for confirmation signals like candlestick patterns or other indicators at the retracement levels. Is there those check marks beside the name that you can say, on the balance of probabilities, there is this much evidence pointing to the right and this much evidence pointing to the left. And then what you see, wherever it weighs more to this, whatever side, take that trade. But you can also use market orders. I mean, this is not really my move here, but I'd rather use a spready limit order, but you can use market orders. The idea here is to consider them for faster moving scalping opportunities. They get you in, they get you out a bit quicker, but keep in mind, you are prone here to slippage. And if you don't know what slippage is, just do a quick Google search. And last, but certainly not least, practice, and more practice. Demo trade using scalping and the measured move to refine your strategy and gain confidence before actually risking real capital. If you see a level that continues to prove itself, don't be afraid to scalp. in and out while using the appropriate risk management skills. And by mastering the art of scalping, guys, using the measured moves, you'll be well equipped to capitalize on these short-term price movements with this intraday trading strategy, Adair.
Yeah, scalping is really fun. Scalping also, like, you know, you have to like figure out how it works for you as well. So it's like, are you going to be more like on looking at the book? Are you going to more look at the chart? You're going to look at both. Also, another just like tip as someone who scalps like maybe too much is it's harder to scalp with names that are spreadier. So just like, you know, be aware of the spread, have your plan. Speaking of spread, PDD. I'm still in this name. I still like the short. I like the short even more because it brushed up against my risk level. That would be that 156.30 and was like, I'll go back down. I'm like, okay, PDD, do your thing, 21. Pleased as dang punch. So let's see. I am really cognizant of the fact that we could be flipping from resistance to support at 156, so I'm trying to be aware of that. But I have no reason to leave yet, so I'm trying to be chilling like a villain. I still as well, and I don't know why, I do know why I'm not taking it. It's because every time we get there, I try to get in and then the spread is just too spready. But that bounce off of VWAP slash 159 on snow has been great. Let's take a look at ELF as well. Oh, ELF. ELF might be falling off the shelf. Look at that. We had a resistance to support flip on the 90 EMA. I love this. I'm obsessed. Is it on my side chart? No, it's not. Well, move over. Actually, okay, I'll kick off AMD. I don't want to kick off Snowflake because I actually do still have levels I like on that. And AMD is just kind of there for me. So ELF going on my shelf, aka my side chart. And if we keep seeing these rejections here at that 188, there may be a trade in my future on ELF, and it may be on my shelf for P&L, hopefully to the upside. I'm going to stop punting. How are you doing?
I'm just putting in a stop. Just give me a
no
second.
worries. Yeah, sorry about that. I will keep yapping. So yeah, someone's mentioning the 1 hour chart on
good.
PDD. Yeah, for sure. I'll take a look at that. How are you doing in Microsoft?
Good. We just got, we added, so we're break even on it at the moment at 87s. I think my beak wetter here at 61s might be a bit too ambitious, so I might move it up, well, at least the first one anyway, into 75s. The reason is 75 is where the volume weighted average price is. So, you know, it seems to be bouncing off that level in between 432 a little bit, in between $0.75. In fact, it hasn't really come into $0.75 in a little bit. So we'll pack our patience, stops in place here. We'll see what we get on the soft one, but it's been putting a whole bunch of topping tail candles. I mean, like, I'm just basing it on my system. That's what I see. I see topping tail candles into a level, rounded top. You know, it's weaker on the day, and I say short. So we'll see what we get here. But the futures, they're back up, dancing with the 50s again here. On the NQ. Maybe it really is NVIDIA driven because NVIDIA's headed back to the upside, breaking through 1,050 again. Good look here for the monster on the day. We did have a quick trade on NVDL as Neil was dropping hot lines. This one dipped aggressively, so I was able to trade this one again. We took a nice 20 penny winner with this one, but really the trade was to hold on to it because look what it's doing now, breaking. Well, NVDL is breaking into high days. NVDA, not so much. But NVDL just came into that 52.45. I think the high was 51, so almost essentially at high of day at the moment. But it does look like Softy is going to stop me out here. Here we go with 432, and there's not a whole lot of size on 432, and we're already breaking above it. So it looks like the winds of change may be coming on the soft one here, and I may get stopped out of this one as it comes right into my level of dare.
That's crazy because it looked like such a good level like that Microsoft, but yeah, I mean, sometimes levels like to bamboozle. Also, so I did look at the 1 hour on the PDD because someone mentioned like look at that 1 hour. Here's my thing on the 1 hour. I see what you mean. We're trying to push higher, but also like we're kind of in a range, and I mean we know how I feel about ranges, and it's a big old thumbs up. As I say that, PDD is like LOL Adara. I'm gonna push up above that level, so that's fine. We're all good. We got out. It's fine. If we keep bouncing off 156, I'll go long. I have no qualms. I am qualmless. But we did push up above my area, so I had to say goodbye. Yeah, down on the day a little bit, but you know me. I am always bullish positivity. And I do not let those markets get me down, even though I feel like the market's goal sometimes is just be like max pain, but no, all good. This Tesla was really fun. I got out of this. I'm really happy with the trade. I got it. It went as planned. But yeah, shout out to, I think, Elon in the chat looking at this Tesla. I wasn't sure if we were going to break above that VWAP, but we did have that nice push here beautifully. For me, that next area of resistance is going to be that 178.50. That's kind of a random area, maybe. But I do like this chop and churn that we have here right off the open. Then we have that big move to the downside. So for me, if there is going to be some resistance coming up, I think beyond that 178 level, which I guess also makes sense as a level of potential resistance, being that it is the a whole dollar level, I think 178.50 is a little bit spicier for my taste. Just given, usually I don't like spice, but I do in the market. Just given what I'm seeing here on the chart itself. What else are people looking at here? I don't really have much to look at. I'm just looking for any opportunities. And now PDD's coming back down. I'm like, but it's all good. That's what the market does. All you can do is smile and make weird faces and keep on going. GME says, a go-go girl. I love that name. And let's take a look at GME. Gimme. Is what the ticker always
gets, as Neil says.
Well, gimme always gets if you're GME. I mean, GME's always giving you something. Oh, this is nice. Okay, GME, sorry for that weird voice, but I mean, look at this. Rounded bottom at that $20 area that Sean was talking about. Now, I don't know if GME is going to say 21. Can you do something for me? Because that might take a little bit of a while. That was that previous area of support, though. So 21 could do something for GME right now, though. I think GME needs to see a VWAP bounce. I don't want to be all here like, oh, I want to play GME. But I mean, if we bounce off VWAP with that rounded bottom, I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. And I think I actually had this, was this a level I had written down on my knockoff off-brand sticky note? Was this? It was 2050. So basically, right now we're at 2040s. I don't want to commit, but if I see something I like, I do want to get involved. I also still looking at PDD. If we bounce off that 156, I will go long. Yeah, still happy I tried it because you have to try things in order to see if they work out.
Yeah, Trisha Perkins saying BCG's making a move.
Oh, so that was earlier.
Yeah, so I had a look, and I mean, I gotta tell you, I see what you're saying, Tisha. It bounced off that 6 1/4, but just on like on my system, I'm not gonna trade this unless it's reclaiming the volume weighted average price and trading above it. Like, if it's coming into it like this and then rejecting, I'm really hesitant to think that that's a reclaim. So keep your eye on it. I mean, it's definitely the #1 scanner on my chart there. 56% to the good, #1 on the list, having done 12 million shares. This one is $108 million market cap with a 3.3 million share float. So definitely on the smaller side there for BCG, but it's not setting up in the way. It's got to get above that VWAP for me to trade it. Faraday's now below VWAP on MED or whatever this, ONMD's also below it. RENB actually dipped below. This is a bit of a bamboozler and then reclaimed it right away, got back into that $1.45. So interesting look there for these ones. OKLO, the one that we traded earlier, is actually sitting there literally at my level still, which is kind of crazy. It did peak up there that's 1045. So that's actually, oops. There we go. So OKLO is no longer tradable. Sorry, I had the chart moved back into the 1030 period. It also broke down well below the volume weighted average price, trying to hang out at 750 or so. There is price action support earlier on OKLO from 10 o'clock at around 740, and it did find a bit of a bid there. So keep your eye out on that. That's what I'm doing at the moment. Otherwise, just waiting on this Microsoft trade. It keeps basically coming into the 50. The 50, that whole dollar area, 432, and then is dancing there. So I'm 13 pennies out of the money on Microsoft at the moment, but as I did with my Apple trade, I'm trying to pack my patience with this trade, see if the setup is valid, because it hasn't shown me a reason to get out of it yet. Hasn't made any newer highs. It hasn't broken that technical area of resistance. So come what may. I mean, that's just the way that this is. And, if you don't like that statement and you don't like that mentality, then this trading is probably not for you, because you can't control what happens in these markets. No matter how hard you try, you're not going to control nothing. You don't have enough buying power to move the market, so you are an observer. You are not a mover, right? So you have to understand that and to basically accept your place in the market. You are not a mover. You are an observer. And that's the reality of things, Adair.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I think that's really important. Also, I think it's really important that I recognize I was wrong on PDD, so now I want the long on PDD. We came to 156, and at first I was like, oh my gosh, is the short really coming in? And then it was like, no, Adair, it's bouncing. And you said if you saw that 156 bounce, you would take it. So I did, and I'm trying to take it. I'm not involved yet. But yeah, as Yoda says, there's no try, there's only do, except if you're in the markets, in which case there's literally only try. But you have to execute, and I think that's where the do comes in, right? I want to take this meta short. I definitely am not going to get it. I am set here 470 80s. I was going to move down to 470 70s to Terra. Don't go chasing waterfalls. And then it's like, I think maybe chasing waterfalls would have been the vibe. So I don't know. It's all good. It is what it is.
I like that. I like that.
But if we bounce off, like, let's put it this way. I would have taken this short into VWAP, right? So there's no way I can take this. But if we bounce off VWAP, I'm going to take the long. I don't know. That's the answer. I literally do not know. So let's see what happens in PDD. I don't think I'm getting that area I want, but it's all good there. Happy I tried this short even if it didn't work out. Meta, I clearly had the right idea, but the wrong everything else, and that's often sometimes how it's going to be in these markets. Tesla, okay, Tesla. If we bounce off VWAP, I've had a decent read on Tesla today, save some of these first two shorts, but I feel like once I started seeing Tesla as a buy the dip long, that ended up being effective for me. So to me, I think there's a clear risk area here into 30s, but I want to see that VWAP bounce. I want to see what we do in 60s. Then I want to take this long. But right now it looks like Tesla's like laughing in my face at that whole concept. So we're gonna have to wait and see there. I think there could be something here in the water on T to the S to the L to the A. NVIDIA refuses to dip, says Paul. I mean, yeah, it hasn't dipped for a while. Shout out to Sharif for that awesome NVDL trade. I attempted an NVDL trade, and I think clearly I did not risk enough. We got out bottom wick, and I had to yeet. And then I saw Sharif kill it on that NVDL trade seconds later. So shout out to you. But yeah, right now I do think that Tesla look is great. I don't think I'm getting PDD, so I'm going to have to pivot to something else.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, we came down into the 80s here on Softy. I think we printed 83s. I was in the money for like a whole 2 seconds, and then right back into the mid-high 90s we go. We're still below that 50 period on the 5, and that's kind of what I'm basing it off because it's shown its propensity to reject off that level earlier on at 1035 and then 1040, and then it's been dancing below it. So I'm really, really trying to exercise patience here, which is not a forte of mine with these mega cappers. Especially if you get it off a level, you expect immediate reaction. Maybe unrealistic expectations on my part, right? But waiting at 75 is essentially waiting for a touch at the volume weighted average price to get my first beak wetter there. But it's just like, it's really holding up at those levels. So the range that was present on Microsoft earlier, you can see from around 11 till around 12, that's really tightened up. It's almost by half now. So yeah, so just basically packing my patience there. All right, what else is going on here? Meta was obviously very strong earlier off that double bottom off 466, 465-ish, makes its way all the way back up into that pre-market low at 472 and 2/3, but it is coming right back down now into that 470 area. So it's looking possibly to bounce off the $10 level. It didn't even make it down into VWAP, even though it had been featuring with VWAP earlier. You got a nice rejection there, 1035, 1040. So I was looking maybe 469 and a half, 2/3, but it's not, well, at least not yet, not making its way down there yet. Right now, it's still at 470 and a half, trying to hold above that $10 level is META. So good look for Meta today. What else have we got going on? The dead one being as dead as it can, very bear pennant-ish. I mean, look at this, kind of not even. It's not even a pennant. Pennant usually means compression, and this one is not compressing. It's got a bit of a flat top at 189.50, 189.60, but we are getting this incrementally higher low, higher low, higher low, with the last, I would say, maybe 20 minutes or so being awfully consolidated with no discernible trend. So AAPL putting in those higher lows. Look for a possible curl back up. You could get rejections off a number of areas. There's that 190, $10 level, which could pose a problem. Or if you really get gangster, you can come all the way up into that 191 HOD. And the closing print from yesterday is 190.89. So there's a whole host of things here that could happen on AAPL, especially with these higher lows. And I want to say that higher low kind of thing, compression, is not just for Apple. It's also for the soft one, even though I'm in the opposite side of that trade right now on Microsoft. Look at these higher lows that are coming in with a general area flat top. You could make the argument 432 or thereabouts. You could use the 50, you could use the price action level. So this could result in some good moves to the high side here. Hopefully, I'll be at a softie before that happens, if it happens on Microsoft today.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla here, I risked into 30s because that was an area I really liked. And you might be like, Adara, that was kind of ambitious. Sure. But we have that 30 bounce. I don't know, I might have read this wrong. Basically, the reason I'm involved in this Tesla log and Apple short is because I've noticed these two have been moving opposite of one another. And I noticed that because I was involved in both, and I was long both, and I'd be super happy in 1 minute for one and super sad in 1 minute about the other. So noticing they moved opposite, I said, Adara, play them against each other. Keep doing that. Make them like fight. Be like a reality show producer. Be like, oh, that person said that thing about your hair. And it was like, what? So, you know, I want to play them off each other if that's something I can do. Couple pennies in the money on Apple, couple pennies out of the money on Tesla. But Tesla, if we keep bouncing, I don't want to add to this position right now. I'm happy with the amount of shares I have. I want to keep seeing these like 30, 40 bounces. Why do I like that 30 level? To me, it just keeps kind of lining up. So I want to see what we do here. Tesla, I have less confidence in than Apple. I totally agree with what Sharif had to say here about Apple, the fact that we did have that kind of roundy top with a higher low, so there's a lot of contradictory signals. But I like that roundy top. I like that we're mostly below VWAP, and I love that we popped into 189.60 and then ran away like a scared kid. I love that. I said if we break above 189.60 with decisively, sorry.
I got you.
My brain is like off today. But if we broke above it decisively with the viciousness there, then I was going to get out. And then Apple did not. PDD has me a little bit peeved, DD, because I want to, you know, I have no qualms. I have no problem recognizing the short idea was wrong. But then I went in the long, and PDD was like, sucker, you should have been right the first time. Like, okay. Usually in this desk, we call stocks punks, not the other way around. But I guess PDD is trying to be something else. But no, it's all good. Tesla curling back up to right where I want it. I want to see our break above VWAP. That would make me even happier. And then Apple, again, I don't know why Apple and Tesla are moving opposite each other, but it doesn't really matter why they are, only that they are, and that I try to use that, hopefully, to my advantage.
All right. Yes. I want your advantage to absolutely come to fruition.
I want Microsoft to be nice to you.
It's being a little bit better. We just wet our beak on some profits right now at the soft one at the $0.75. We're short 92s. And there it is, baby. Drop, Microsoft, drop, you punk. Let's go all the way down, soft one. Let's go into the 50s. And there we're going to cover here, baby. Happy with this trade, man. That's 3 outs on the soft one. I had to really wait for that. That annoyed me a little bit, I'm not going to lie. But that's the one there. Pleased with this one. I had to fight with Microsoft on this one, and now we are back in Microsoft's good books. So the soft one did dump off that 50 period, so technicals, at least in my estimation, do work. And here we go. This was the precipice for looking at the 50. Remember we talked about this. Don't use a moving average if it's not featuring on the day or not featuring on the time frame on which you're trading. Look for something that is. So I saw here that there was respect for the 50, and I got confirmation that 50 was respected over here because it didn't print 1 penny above the 50 over here. Now, I didn't get the parabolic down move that we wanted. We got a 50 print, and we were short 92, so that's a decent move. But I also want to point out that it's still putting in higher lows. So even though we did get that dump off the 50, it's been 1, 2, 3, and if this holds up, 4 higher lows in a row with the 50 acting as a key level of resistance on the soft one. So these move off that 50 period rejection on softy. Apple also on the way down. Look at this. Yeah, so this is interesting here on Apple. So I gotta tell you, there is an interesting double bottom over here from 1130 to 1135 at that 185.05, 185.10, whatever, okay, in and around that area. So let's see if we can make that newer low. I'll be looking for that because we just finished yapping about the higher lows on the soft one. Well, why wouldn't the higher low be important on Apple as well, seeing that the pattern is very similar on Microsoft and on Apple on the day. But Apple looks a bit more bearish, I got to tell you the truth here, because it's coming down, not notionally as much, but chart pattern-wise, looks a bit more aggressive on the descent here. AAPL, decent look for it for the short today, definitely. Yeah, so that's a look there. Goggles as well has been featuring with the 50. And I don't even think this is the 50. I think this is the trade that I paper-handed, this closing print trade yesterday. So this is the 176.42 is the closing print from 4 p.m. yesterday. It also happens to be 1 penny away from pivots, from the green line, which is the dotted green line, not the solid one, the dotted one right here. So it's nice when there is a confluence between the two, right? So that's why I got short goggles at that area, but I didn't hold it for nearly enough because that was a nice move down. Now we're almost at the buck territory off that drop. But yeah, Softy continuing to head down here. Look at this. Now it's breaking the $0.50 level. Keep your eye out for this double bottom defend. It's the same look on Apple. I want to see if we make a newer low or if we maintain that higher low, higher low, higher low pattern for a possible compression break later on in the day, maybe when the big kahunas come on and the volume starts picking up again, Adair. So we'll see exactly what we get on both these names. Let's see what else is moving. Okay, some topping tail candles here coming in on NVDA, but it's still featuring nicely here with the 10 on the 5. If it doesn't hold up on the 10, you can see the yellow line there has been the line in the sand. That yellow line is the 20. So it's been a take your pick. Can you catch a 10 retracement? If you can't, pack your patience for a 20 retracement. Again, that level that Adair pointed out, that 1047 level has been featuring over and over and over today, both as key areas of support and resistance for whatever reason. Kind of bizarre that a 47 level would feature in such a way because it's not like a whole dollar level or anything like that, $10 level. So keeping an eye on that. Okay, last but not least, before I send it back to Adair, the Zon went back into Greensville today when it got into at 184 1/3. Look where it's at right now. It's about to touch yesterday's closing print, 183.12. It didn't even respect VWAP. There was no respect. It's coming into that level, 183.12, 183. Let's see if it will respect yesterday's closing print and maybe curl a little bit off here. Right now, I can tell you on a strict basis, it's not because it just printed below it, but it got quite a bit of a bid once it did. So we'll watch Amazon at these levels, trying to go red. It went red briefly, now up 0.02%.
Yeah, I mean, lots of stuff happening on the stocks. I'm looking at PDD, trying to be a short again at 156. I don't want to rush into that because that is maybe we can stay of the day. The first short didn't go well. But I mean, now to me, this short really looks at, you know what? I'm getting involved. I'm going to stop weirdly talking to myself. I want PDD 156.05s. I'm going to basically use the same parameters as I used before. If we get above that 30s area, which was a really interesting area, I'm going to be getting out. Now, I did flip from long to short in Tesla. Why, you may ask? Maybe you didn't. But if you did, or even if you didn't, I initially got long because I liked what we were doing here. I thought we were going to push above. That held decently for half a second. And then I got out of the long and I realized, hey, we're curling down. I want to get short. And it looks like right now, the short is the place to be. So let's see. I want to see us break above, or I don't want to see us break above. I'm in a short. I want to see us break below that 177 decisively, in which case I will get in. This whole market is crashing a little bit here. So let's take a look here at the Qs. Ooh, okay, falling to the downside a little bit. We are for sure. Also, I want to point something out here as it's interesting. Like some of these names are falling harder than the others. Apple, but yeah, I also want to, with regards to I got out of Apple way too early. I got out of 33s, but I'm happy with it. That was a previous area of resistance, so I had to get out where I had to get out. I also want to shout out Big Rob in the chat for saying the Qs and the SPY are interesting like plays to play against each other because sometimes you'll see them kind of gearing up opposite ways. One is always stronger than the other. That's an interesting point. Big Rob, let's take a look and see what I see what let me see in the SPY here to get a sense. Yeah, I definitely see what you mean today. They're actually kind of moving a little bit similarly, but one's up in the day more than the other. It's something I want to get a bit of a better sense of that relationship for sure, but thank you for pointing that out. I need to see what's going on here in these markets because we don't have that TIPS 10-year note auction that 10-year TIPS auction coming in here for a few more minutes. That's going to be coming in at 1 p.m. I will definitely want to be out of Tesla before that. I think I got that 177 bounce, so I'm going to have to be getting out at 177s. I had a smaller position on this because I did lose a little bit on that previous trade. PDD dropped, then came back up, so I want to be cognizant of the fact that I did cancel that order because I think maybe I still feel good about the short. I'm still going to take the short. I need to trust my ideas more, and I think that's the biggest issue is I just have very little faith in my ideas, and I definitely need to get better at that. So right now we're going to try taking this short, and the second I get in, PDD is like, yeah, maybe you want to rethink that. So I'm like, okay, it's all good. It's all good. We can flip if we need to. Involved in Tesla. Let's see what else is happening here. SPY puts make my day, says Eclectic Passions. Yeah, I think they totally make sense. That was a great move earlier. So shout out to you spying those puts there on, spying that downward move there on the SPY. Yeah, right now, what level did I have written down on the SPY for myself? That 531.50. I should have really been watching because that 531.40, that was a bit of a double top that I totally missed out on that I could have had while I was here in the midday. So, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda, though. Just something you have to keep an eye out for next time. Be more on the ball. Be more on the game. Oh, Big Rob. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Relative to the pre-market futures level. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Gonna have to watch better for the SPY and the keys. But right now, the market's taking a little bit of a bath. And Tesla on that roadster 0 to 100 near my profit-taking level. We will let you guys know when we get that TIPS auction coming in just a few minutes now, coming in at 1 p.m.
Go, Adara, go. Hope you print a lot on that Tesla trade.
Thank you.
I would have done well if I had held this Microsoft trade. Look at this. Look at all the way down. It dropped $1 from where I got out. What a move down for Softy, holding up at 430 3/4. It didn't even make its way down into the closing print from yesterday, which is around the $0.50. This was the holdup earlier at the 2/3 of a dollar. Prior to that, had broken the $0.50. I'm talking about this area over here. You can see drops below the $0.50 there. But yeah, Softy has been absolutely featuring with the 50, and there is no longer the higher low pattern on said Softy or Microsoft, or Apple, I'll get it together, at these levels. So we were talking about these higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, with a possible compression top through the 50 on both of them. Both of those patterns have now broke, and they both made newer lows to break through. While in Softy's case, it was at 431 1/5. In Apple's case, it was at 189 1/4. And so both of those, wow, we broke 189 on Apple. So a lot of weakness coming in here on the dead one. To the downside, obviously. We'll see if it can curl right back up or not. Now, Apple is down over 1% on the day, second only to Tesla in Mag 7 world for weakest. So even though Tesla's chart looks a lot better than Apple's at the moment, it is down more on the day. So these are the Mag 7 names. Let's flip back to some small cap gappers and see what we can get from these ones. Anything afoot on these ones. RENB still above VWAP. Everything else, though, has been kind of untradeable. Even today, Luis, when he came on, you know, he wasn't really excited about what he saw in small cap world, right? He saw ONMD, and that was the one that he was really excited about. And then Brendo showed him CYTO, and that one tanked as Brendo was talking about it. So that one hasn't held up, I believe. Is it CYTO? Yeah, it is CYTO. Did you say yup, Ram? The Ram knows tickers
That
now.
was CYTO.
It was CYTO. I'm not crazy, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Ram.
So as Brendo was telling him about it, it went right back down. But as you can see, it continued. So it did make that 247 touch after Brendo mentioned it. But yeah, giving up the ghost now, coming back into the 200 period on the 5. You know, there hasn't been a lot of follow through today in small cap world, but there's been plenty of follow through to the south side, the negatory side on said Mag 7 names. That's unless your name, your ticker starts with an N and ends with an A, because this one has been absolutely making higher highs and higher lows. Despite these bamboozling candles, the pattern has held up. The deeper retracements into the 20 on the 5, the more shallow retracements into the 10 on the 5. NVIDIA has been incrementally higher highs and higher lows all day long.
Yeah, so that took me a second there.
All good.
But yeah, PDD, I don't know what you're PD doing. I don't know what I'm PD doing in this. I took a smaller position the second time because I still did like the short, especially when it came back in. I think it could be a long because we kind of had that move down in the market and then we recovered decently. But as long as we keep rejecting that 156.30 area, I'll stay in this. I'd rather not add. If I keep seeing stuff I really like, I may, but I would really rather not. Tesla, please just punch. Did I get out early? Sure, maybe. Am I happy with the trade? Yes, I am. So why did I get out where I did? Tesla was, okay, and as I talk, Tesla's like, Dara, you're gonna talk about how I didn't break down and now I am. No, but basically what was happening was Tesla was not breaking down with the viciousness that the other names were breaking down. Because I scalp, what I'm looking for a lot is going to be like how, not just the direction of the move, but how we move, right? And so with Tesla, I noticed we have a big breakdown in the Apple, big breakdown in the futures, and Tesla's like, so I was like, okay. And see, like just like that, we come back above that 177, right? So I go to 177.10s. Please just punch. Took about 25 pennies. Could have done better, but it could have done worse as well. And I think sometimes you have to address that. Kyle Burdett's, big Kyle Burdett, $10 super chat. Adira, you called someone else big? Right in my heart. Spy and Zon, dump it. To be fair, Big Rob's name in the chat is Big Rob. To be fair. So I do want to put that out there.
Big Kyle is trying to like take over like all, and nobody is allowed to be called big except Big Kyle. Big Kyle, I think, you know, you want that moniker. That's going to cost you some money. I'm just joking.
No,
Big Kyle is the #1 donator, by the way.
Oh, yeah, he's killing it. Shout out so much. Thank you very much to Big Kyle Burdett. And that's a big SPY short, or sorry, Amazon short. And I love that level here. Look at that 184.10 area. We had that stop and turn, came down, then rejected beautifully. So shout out. Shreve is having a moment with Microsoft. So hopefully, you know, they don't have too, you know, contentious of a relationship. There's not too much, you know, not too contemptuous there. But look at, like, this is another area where it's like, that double top on the SPY was great here for 531.20s. I had 531.50s written on my notes, so I should have really had that up on my side chart. But great look there. Shout out to you, Big Kyle Burdett, and your big trades. Yeah, I'm still looking at PDD. I have no thoughts.
I like it. I will take up all challengers at the next meetup for the big title. Shout out to Big Kyle, man. Always keeping things light and with the humor. Shout out to you, my man. I get all the, man, this guy sends me thorough analysis now. Oh, yeah. And like technicals and everything. Big Kyle Burdett doing things there. Guys, everything's headed down here except NVIDIA. Everything. Tesla included in this month, and Tesla's been the strongest lately midday there as it got a nice bounce right at 11 there, Ram. It started moving up and broke VWAP, but it is also featured with the 50 today. Coming into the 50 on the 5 and down it goes at that 178 level. Broke through 177 right now, trying to hold up above support level 2. What are you guys looking at? Throw some tickers there in the chat. I don't mind looking at those at the moment. What do we got here? Ponzi, big Ponzi. Oh, Pons wants all the smoke. It looks like, Kyle. So you might wanna see what he's up to there. Mara. All right, let's have a look at MARA. Is BP? Oh, thank you, Ram. Forgot about that. I do appreciate it. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, Mara recovering a little bit here. It's had a tough day, but look at that hold up at 20 on MARA. I mean, you did get wicks below into 1995, but that's a good hold here for Mara. And hey, guys, you know, I'm not saying Mara is going to break up or anything. You guys know that I got rinsed a little bit on Mara for about a dollar loss there. I bought it at the 30s, but look at this upward channel. Okay? Ever since making those lower highs and lower lows, now we are in upward channelsville over here. So this has been holding up too. This has been, how long have we been in this channel? Yeah, since the middle part of April. So respecting that level, incrementally making higher highs and higher lows, we'll see exactly what we get. But I want to remind you guys that we have a brand new segment. And if I can here, go to Google Docs. I can show you exactly how to involve yourself in it, right? So between 2 p.m. to 2:20, we're not going to do the big desk with Brendo and I and then throw it over to the big kahunas. What we're going to do is we're going to give you your say as to what you want spoken about. So here it is. All you got to do is type in the chat, !, the word join, and then space, $, and put in the ticker that you want. It could be BCG, Tisha Perkins. It could be IPW. It could even be GME, Patty AP. I see you there. You want us to talk about GME. Young Staffa wants us to talk about AMC. So have your say, my man. Go ahead and put that in the chat. I see Oli. Oli wants us to talk about NVDL. Go ahead, type in exclamation point join, $, NVDL, and we'll have a look at that. So every day, guys, between 2 to 2:20, we're going to talk about the tickers that you want. You'll be able to vote every day between 1 and 1:50. So in exactly 1 minute, you'll be able to vote. So sorry for all those people I told to vote. Don't vote yet. Wait till that clock hits 1 o'clock, and then go ahead and have your say. We'll be reminding you between now and 1:50, Adara, about said new segment.
Yeah, also something happening in 1 minute is the bond.
Ooh.
It's actually not the bond. It's the 10-year TIPS high yield.
Okay.
And we'll have to see if this tips PDD further to the downside, because I don't want to get out of this trade, but man, would I like PDD to do something. That's what I have to say. Also, T-Money trying to kind of be a little salty here with you, saying it could be ticker Man City. So that seems like a little bit of a
just throwing shade my way
there.
like that.
Yeah, he's got
All
pep
right.
in his step, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, we'll see once you guys deal with the 154 pending FA charges for overspending. No, I'm being a hater. Like, look, hey, chapeau to you guys. You guys did really well. And we'll see you next year on the pitch. We beat you guys once this year, and we tied you once. So maybe we'll take the title from you next year. Hopefully, we'll spend a little bit of money too. So
Ooh, that was
we spent a little bit of money too last summer. We should have done a little bit better, but that's neither here nor there. All right, guys, some decent levels coming in here. META, ever since that big move up into 473. It's been on the downward trend, but here it is. This is the closing print yesterday on Meta. So let's see if this factors in. It didn't factor in here. It didn't hold up here, didn't hold up here or here. So I'm less inclined to say that this 467.75 is going to be a level. But look, 3 candles now bouncing off a random level. So chart these. You never know when they'll feature. Have the moving averages up there. You'll never know when they'll feature. So META finding a bit of a bid now. Let's see if it can make a 5-minute candle to make a new high above this 468.5. If it can, then we can curl up maybe into 469.5, which is where VWAP is hanging out. Here it comes. We're about to break that $0.50. 468.40s now on META. Let's see if we can get a print above the $0.50 on a closing basis. I'll definitely trade Meta. I like Meta. I like Zucksters. Oh, my friend is hilarious. So he got the Meta glasses. I returned mine. I don't have them anymore. He has them, and I want to show a video of this guy. Absolutely stunning. You know what he did? He's in a hotel in London, so he's trying to show up that he's in a hotel. So then he's taking his phone and recording the hotel with his phone. All the while, Adara, he's got the Meta glasses on, recording himself, recording with the phone. I'm like, bro, you're doing too much.
That's meta.
You're doing too much.
That is literally meta.
Right?
To be recording at the same time. Also, I'm still not seeing those auction numbers in yet. That's too funny though. That is next.
Right?
He's a little extra.
He is. He's an extra dude. He's an extra dude. He's a good dude though. I like him.
Yeah.
Any updates on your side of things, or
Waiting for the auction, waiting for PDD to PD do anything.
Oh, okay.
But also, we got the auction. Okay.
Okay.
Slightly higher than expected here. 2.184% versus 1.932% previous here for the high yield auction. Markets, let's see what the Qs are doing here. Also, you did not get did you hear my pep pun? I said, oh, maybe he has some pep in his step with the Man City.
I was trying to, you know what I mean? I was trying to make my next point, so I missed that one. But that's a good one, of course.
I was proud of it. But yeah, T. Grizzly says he's also a Chelsea fan, but he didn't want to see London red, so he wanted to clarify his Man City.
Oh, yeah.
comment
Apparently, there was an Arsenal. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying the Qs are not really doing too much.
Okay, yeah.
So what happened with Arsenal?
Apparently, there was an Arsenal fan walking in the wrong neighborhood and it went viral. So Arsenal wears red, Chelsea wears blue, obviously. And they're not even the same neighborhoods. One's West London, the other one's North London. So I don't know how he was walking in the wrong neighborhood, but he was walking in an Arsenal shirt after City won the title. So this guy was just getting trolled by like 100 Chelsea fans. And the police had to intervene. They had to like protect the man. Yeah.
This is serious.
Oh, yeah. You can't sit together. Okay, story time. So a buddy of mine, when I was in law school in England, we went from Leicester to Birmingham. where Aston Villa plays. He wanted to watch Villa play away to United. He's a United fan, so United was visiting Villa in Birmingham. So we went to buy tickets. We couldn't buy tickets with the away supporters because there's just only so much, there's a finite amount, there's a lot less. So we had to buy tickets with the home supporters, but we couldn't cheer at all, nor could you even let on that you were a United fan.
Really?
They would beat you to a pulp. Afterwards, yeah, the police has to escort the away fans, so make sure that they get on the bus to protect them from the home fans. Man, it's serious over there. Yeah,
I have
it's
no
not,
words.
it's not the same
Clearly,
thing over here.
I am.
Shout out to Lester.
Wow.
Neil
That's
Roberts. Oh, yeah? Neil's family. Oh, cool, man. Shout out, man. All right, what do you got?
I wish I had something other than staring at this one trade that's giving me nothing. But Tesla might be giving, actually, no, it's not. Okay, I do like this level. I thought we were higher than we were. I like that 176.60 earlier. I took a nice little long off that. If we bounce here, that's a level I'm going to like. And as I talk, Tesla's like, what do you mean if we bounce? I just dumped 10 pennies. I'm like, okay, Tesla. But I don't really want to take one long while I'm still short a name. I do still like the PDD short. But I've noticed this bizarre little baby bottom we've had here at, I could have worded that better, at 155.80. So I really want to see, I didn't want to get out there though, because I thought we could break lower. And I have no reason to leave yet. I'm flat in this position, but I would like us to continue to crank to the downside, because I do, I just want to see a little bit of a move on there. Yeah, the tips. Thank you, Kyle. But I'll read the tips again because I think I read it earlier too. But we did get bid to cover 2.77 versus 2.730 previous. 10-year high yield 2.184% versus 1.932% previous. So that came in lower than expected. Are the markets reacting to this yet? No, I mean, we're kind of trying to pop up a little bit, but nothing too wild here. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. That Tesla, though, literally wish I had noticed that before I said it, because now Tesla's up 30 pennies. If we reject at 177, that could be a level. My levels for Tesla are 176.60, 177, 177.30. So if either of those levels hit, I think we're about to get that 176.90s, then that's something I definitely want to be a part of.
All right. TIPS says Big Kyle Burdett. Let's have a look at.
Oh, that's the auction.
Oh, that's okay. That's TIPS auction. Okay, thank you. I thought that was a ticker. I mean, I don't know. I looked over to Sean right now. I'm like, what's the look, Katina? He's like, look, man, I flipped short. I'm looking short everything right now. So, you know, I can't, who can disagree with that? Look at that. Everything really is pointing to the downside here. I'm trying to look for technical levels off which to either get a pop, into like looking for a pop to short it, or looking for a dip trade off a key technical level to go long. I'm not seeing anything on any of these. We're extended away from the 10 on Meta. We're well extended from the 10 on Softy, everything. We're extended away from everything on all these ones. So I don't have a trade. And NVIDIA, we're at high a day. We just printed $1,054.98, essentially, you know, $1,055, and we're there right now. So punching in here will be punching it at high a day. I'm trying to look for something here for Meta at this 467.75. The reason being Meta, I feel, was still the strongest name on the day. The lower highs are still in play on Meta. They're not in play on any of these other ones. So if we get a curl up here, I could be persuaded to get something on Meta, but it keeps printing lower and lower and lower. How many red candles is that in a row on Meta, man? Holy cow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 13 on the 5-minute. So there you go. Very weak market, really breaking down now, despite the fact that we broke 19,000 in the pre-market. That didn't foreshadow anything to the long side, because it's been really a sell kind of day. That's unless you're NVIDIA, obviously. Benton C., who's an Arsenal fan, by the way, wants me to tell you that there's a good movie about hooliganism. And it's called, hold on, he just tagged me there. I had it 1 second ago. I missed it. Benton, yes. It's called Green Street Hooligans. And it's about hooliganism in the 80s. They took people's passports away, Adara, in the 80s because they'd go to France, Germany, Spain, wherever, and make England look really bad every time an English team was to play like one of these European teams. They're like, you're not traveling anymore, bro. You're making us look really bad.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I need to check that out.
They took people's passports away.
That's wild. I know John Oliver has talked a little bit about like the rambunctiousness of British sports fans. So yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that, check that out and watch that. The Green Street Hooligans. Thank you, Benton. You know what's your only Green Street stock right now is going to be that NVDA. It's funny that you said get only stock positive if you start with an N and end with an A. I'm sure there's some stocks that start with N and end with A that are negative. They're like, Sharif, why'd you say that? I wish I was positive too, but no, I'm joking. Great look for NVIDIA. Higher high, higher low, classic dip buy story. I don't have any read on this right now, so I've been avoiding it, but I am pleased as punch with my two shorts. One of them is on Tesla. Took it off a level I really liked, that 177.90. I don't like how well we're holding this 176.85, but I have no reason to leave yet, so I'm gonna stay in. I just don't want it to be a situation like what I did with Google, where the long setup looked good, or the short setup looked good, and then it pivoted on me, it flipped. I wanna see what we do at 20s. PDD, do you wanna finally break below 155.80s?
Yeah, it might be time.
I gotta talk to you, sir. We gotta have a conversation, PDD. I would like to see a breakdown, okay? Like, you know, we've been going back and forth. You've been making me think you were long. You made me think you were short. Like, I just want you to be straight with me, and I want you to be straight to the downside. So now that I've been done reprimanding you, Tesla coming back to that 85 level, I do want to see a break below 85s to feel more confident in this trade, but I have no reason to get out now. Apple. Okay, Apple, I don't have a read on Apple right now. I only had a read when I was kind of playing these ranges earlier, but I want to see, yes, I got out of the short a little early, but I want to see what we do here. Sharif was right that 188.60s area is a nice look. I totally agree with what you had to say about that bounce. And if you want to join in all the action, what you have to do is go exclamation point join, and then space.
I got it.
Yeah, okay, Sharif's going to show you so I don't have to, you know, try to awkwardly explain it. But yeah, so, because we do want to have some audience participation in these parts. So that's what you do. Don't put Tesla if you don't want to look at Tesla, like whatever ticker you want to look at. I don't think BNAD's running anymore, but BNAD, for example, GME, whatever ticker, you know, you guys know what tickers are. Whatever ticker you like, you know, you guys know what tickers are, quote of the day. But whatever you want to look at, you know, like put that ticker there with that $ in that chat. And then we, when I say we, I mean Sharif and the Big Kahunas, will look at and discuss all of your favorite Trenda tickers. I just have to shout out Trenda. She's our trading turtle. She's our little pal here on the How to Trade. Shout out to Ramin. But yeah, so that's the look on that. Also, I cannot believe it is basically time for the lesson of the day.
Wow.
So I'm going to extricate myself from Tesla, I think, a little bit here.
You want me to take over for a little bit?
Yeah, for a little bit.
Absolutely.
And we'll get that
Absolutely. All right, let's have a look at, so, I mean, really, there's really not much happening to the long side at these levels. Everything really printing towards the lower side. And I've been looking for some other stuff to, you know, talk about here. I don't want to keep just mentioning the Mag 7 over and over and over, but yeah, they're ones that are moving at the moment. You see that the Fuge came back down into that low 18 area again, 18,802, technically the low of the day. And that is quite a bit off the highs that we put in the pre-market. I believe we did get above 19,000. Yeah, we got to 19,000 and a quarter almost in the pre. So Big Kyle was mentioning a really good point earlier in the chat, and it's something that Adair and I, as well as the Big Kahunas, have commented on in the past. You know, there is this propensity to, you know, retrace if you break a key level in the pre-market. There was this one time, I think we saw NVIDIA break above 600 or 700. It took that level in the pre and then essentially sold off for the next couple of days. It didn't do that the next time, though, at that next technical level. I remember 700, it reclaimed it and it continued to go. But the point is to say, if you get a taking of a key technical resistance level, like maybe a 19,000 in the pre, it's maybe foreshadowing something. It's not a hard and fast rule, but it's something just to be aware of, right? You don't have to base everything off it. Just have it in the back of your mind. There, key technical levels that get taken on lighter volume in the pre-market sometimes don't hold.
Yeah, and that was I think it was NVIDIA 600, because remember, you said, Dara, look. And I was like, and then, yeah, it was a really good level.
It was 600, not 700, right?
It was 600,
okay,
yeah. Because then I remember after that, we had the 666 ridiculousness, where on that day that 666 was the high of day one for NVIDIA. It was the same day that Meta had its crazy run. This is a weird eidetic memory coming back. That was the same day that Meta had that run up into 480. And I remember because I shorted Meta 480, and I thought it was a crazy decision, but it ended up working out. Yeah, sorry, weird trips down literal memory lane there. Honestly. But now, I'm proud of both those trades. I want to talk about them after, but right now, you know what I want to talk about? One of my favorite things to ever talk about, scalping. But today we're going to talk about scalping with the measured move. Also, for Altaz saying devil in the details, which I just had to laugh at that 666, so shout out to you. But also shout out to scalping with measured moves. So we've been talking about measured moves all weekend. We're going to talk about them now in tandem with scalping, because scalping is when you make these little teeny tiny profits from frequent trades. Measured moves, when used strategically, can become your secret weapon for intraday trading. or intraday scalping. And here's how you can kind of combine these two awesome concepts. Measured moves, to quickly recap though, imagine you've got this stock and it surges $2 intraday. A measured move is often based on historical price retracements. It'll estimate potential future support resistance levels. So in this case, if you've got your $2 move, a 50% retracement suggests a dip to 150 before potentially resuming that uptrend and catapulting right back to the upside. But let's talk about scalping with measured moves, because that's of course something to talk about here as well. Step 1. Identify a strong trend, because scalping is going to be working best in trending markets. I scalp in ranges too, but it really, depends, of course, on whatever is your cup of soup. And with scalping, identifying the strong trend, you need that because you want to have those opportunities to get in and out with a lot of liquidity, and you can use technical indicators or price action analysis to confirm an uptrend or a downtrend. Then you want to spot the initial price move. So you want to see significant price move within the trend, for example, a sharp jump in the uptrend. And then what you want to do, calculate your measured move. So apply a retracement level, for example, 50%, to estimate a potential support and resistance zone. Then you want to have your precise entry and exit plan. In an upward trend, what you want to do, for example, is enter a long position near the calculated retracement level, for example, 150 in our previous example, as the price dips. Exit shortly after the price bounces and show signs of resuming the uptrend, for example, a small breakout above the retracement level. Then in a downtrend, what you might want to do here is enter a short position near the retracement level. Again, this 150 example from earlier. As the price rises, then exit quickly after the price confirms the downtrend by breaking below the retracement level. Here's some things to consider, a lot of key considerations for scalping success. You know what your friend's going to be? Volatility. Measured moves are going to work best in volatile markets with frequent price swings because they offer more opportunities for you to get in and out. And if you have more volatility, if you have more players involved, the more you're able to get in and out like a little scalping ninja with these measured moves. You know what else is your friend? Tighter stops. Because scalping profits are often smaller, so what you want to do is use these strict stop-loss orders, place slightly below the entry point for longs to limit losses on unexpected price rises, and slightly above for shorts to limit loss on price drops. One thing I wanted to say here as well, just as someone who might have a little bit of a passion for scalping, just a skosh, what I like to do is make sure that you really set your stop and profit takers right after you enter the trade, because if you don't, you might not get what you want. And you can't always get what you want, to quote the song, but you can have a better chance if you set those entries right away to make sure you can maybe get your opportunities.
Bang.
Also talk about managing risk, which we always do here on How to Trade. Scalping does involve frequent trades, getting in and out without viciousness, so risking a significant amount per trade can quickly drain your capital, and that's something we're always learning here as well. So what you want to do is maintain good risk management practices by making sure you're cognizant of how much am I risking. If I had a bit of a doozy earlier, do I want to take that many shares when I go back in the same idea? Maybe not, right? It's about learning, it's about growing, and it's about making sure that your risk management is appropriate and that it vibes and that it can hang with the levels you like. So here's some other tips, though, to take your scalping even further, which I'm always excited about. Well, maybe you want to combine your measured moves with your price action. So look for confirmation signals, candlestick patterns, for example, at the retracement levels to increase confidence in your entry points. Because you can't always get confidence because we're not all Sean Katina. But what you can get is confidence, and if you have conviction, great things can happen. You also want to use market orders maybe to get a little bit of a faster entry. To make sure that you can enter into this fast-moving scalping opportunity ASAP Rocky. But what you want to do as well is be aware of potential price slippage. I will often just do limit orders and then just wait for it to hit. So it really does depend on what type of trader you are and what you're feeling. Practicing as well. Practice, practice, practice. Demo trade for using scalping with measured moves to refine your strategy and gain confidence before risking real capital. That was what I did in the sim, and that's how I realized I was more comfortable scalping these mega cap names. And so then when I tried to do that in the live, it was like, okay, you practice this. This is what you're comfortable doing, right? You want to make sure practice does make perfect. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. And if you see a level that's continuing to prove itself, don't be afraid to scalp in and out while using appropriate risk management. By mastering the art of scalping with measured moves, you'll be well equipped to capitalize on short-term price movements within that intraday trading arena. Also, I want to quickly look at this super chat. Thank you so much to Jose Mercado. $20 super chat. Bought 20 shares of new IPO. Bow. Hope to 200. Ha 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 ha. Can you look at it? Thanks for the show.
Absolutely. Here it is, guys. BOW. Brand new IPO, as you can see here, opened up at exactly $23, and that is still the HOD on the day, and it's been kind of dancing. It's 56 pennies, sorry, 44 pennies below that HOD right now, trading at 22.56. Do I have the volume on this? Yeah, so we've done 1.5 million shares. We opened up at exactly 12.47. This is the 1 minute chart on BOW. Again, you know, you're not going to be able to use a whole lot of technicals on this. There just isn't enough data on this to be able to make an assume or some sort of assessment. But here we go. We have definable levels so far to the high side and the downside. 23 to the high side, 22.14 to the downside. Let's put in BOW over here so we can keep eyes on it. There it is. There's the live action over here at trading at 22.5. I'd look for a break of either side and then look to get long or short on the break of those technical levels. I mean, again, I got to tell you the truth. I'm not really good at trading these IPOs. I've never really done it a lot, and I try to stay away from it. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't have anything to base my trades off. I guess maybe that's why I shy away. But anyway, 23 to the high side, 22.14. I have no idea what this company is, but they're called Bowhead Specialty Holdings. Again, I lack details on them because of the newness of the company. Let's see if Trade Ideas has anything that we can use here. BOW, Bowhead Specialty. Yeah, they're lacking in data as well. Market cap, not small. It's a $500 million, $542 million market cap. Obviously, we don't know the flow. We don't know the short float. Obviously, that goes without saying. It's been trading for 10 minutes. Longer, obviously. Here we go. Just broke through VWAP into that 22.90 area. Keep your eye out for a 23 break. If we take out 23, we could use it as support. I guess maybe that's why I'm looking for a 23 touch. Let's have a look at the book on this. Let's load it up on a trading screen here and see what BOW, and it trades on NYSE, by the way, guys. So this is on the New York. Look, wow, Meta's really coming down. All right, here, BOW. Let's look at the New York book. It's quite spready, guys. Yeah, what's going on? Oh, yes. The Katina man is short. He is looking short. He has been looking short. He's short. The TQ's at 65.20. So essentially short from, I'll show you guys. Where's my TQs? There it is. Shut out to the Katina man. Gets the top end of that trough. Topping tail candle into 25. Then the Katina punches short. That's well in the money there as it dips into 64.80. Shout out to him, man. Good vibes, Katina, there. So keep your eye out. I already put my alert on this chart for a 23 break. If we get 23 break to the high side, then I could possibly use it as support. But I was saying real quick here on BOW that the spread is awfully wide. Right now, it's tightened up a little bit to 9 pennies. It's showing 69 on the ask, but I've seen it wide. I've seen it like as wide as 20 pennies at times. So keep your eye out on this one. 32.94%. Don't have any details on the company, but shout out to Jose Mercado for pointing that one out. And as he pointed that one out, everything except NVIDIA made another downturn. Not everything, the Mag 7, all made downturns on that last move there. I keep looking for different levels off which to get support. It's just one of those days where you just have to punch short and, you know, just come with me. I put in a dip trade here on NVDL to get filled. It just doesn't stop, man. Even my dip trades are not getting filled on this anymore. 22.5%. for the NVIDIA derivative today, having done 25.8 million shares of volume. That's got to be one of the higher ones that I've seen for NVDL. I'm sitting here at 52.82. Don't know why, but that's where I put my dip trade in. It came into 84s, so I didn't get filled. Yeah, you know, there's nothing you can do about that. So we'll see exactly what we get there. Big Kyle Burdett, Amazon coming into that 182 level. I do see that, Kyle, and then it did put a bit of a hammer candle, but it hasn't closed yet, Big Kyle, off that 182 exactly. LOD right now, 182.07. Let's see if that level holds up. I think Big Kyle is looking at this level over here from the afternoon yesterday when we kind of made our way down. We did hold that 182 level on Amazon on a closing basis. Alas, we did come in to that 181 mid-90s, but that was a quick wick, and then we got right back up. If that plays out again today, that'll be an interesting level, especially when it's a rinse and repeat on that kind of thing. So keep your out for 182, big Kyle Burdett. Gorev, does NVIDIA look like a rising wedge to you? Kind of struggling to break the resistance trend line. That's not what I see, Gorev. All I see here is the 5-minute chart, and all I see is higher highs and higher lows. The dips into the 20 all been bought up. Obviously, the dips into the 10 are being bought up as well. I see what you're saying. I mean, it pops into 157, comes back down. Sorry, 1057 comes back down to 1055. This is a $1,000 name though, so when it moves $2, it's kind of like the equivalent of something moving 10 pennies. That's a little bit cheaper. So I don't know what you mean by. I don't know what you're seeing by rising wedge here. All I see is an upward channel, my man, where the lows are getting bought up and it's incrementally making higher highs, Adair.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that NVIDIA is just on its own little trip to the upside. He's still Jenny from the block. Jensen Huang, I'm sure, is very happy with what they're doing there today. Also, I was going to say something.
What?
And my brain was like, no, you don't. Oh, also, thank you, Bowhead, Fiddleback, some other people in the chat saying that Bowhead does insurance.
Oh,
so nice
thank you.
look there.
Thank you.
For hitting the bow on the head there. Also, so before we did the lesson of the day, I had 2 shorts on PDD, and we need some more espresso. I had some more shorts on PDD and Espresso, and no, I'm joking, Tesla. And I did actually get out of both. This Tesla, I only ended up taking like 10 pennies. Happy I got it where I did, because I get out, then we pop back up. It would have still been successful. If we keep seeing these lower highs, I will try to get back into this successful short, hopefully, but we'll have to see. I don't want to force anything. This PDD, though, I have big plans for PDD.
Ooh.
I have big plans for PDD. You might be like, Adara, why do you sound like a supervillain? That's fair. I get that. But you know what? What I said, I initially got out of this short, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see I had 2 profit takers, because I did. I wanted to get out 41s, and I got the rest out 42s. And you know, if you were thinking, what would be the point of even separating that? That's fair. But it's because I was like, oh, it's 1 p.m. It's lesson time. I didn't even realize, look how much time flies when you're having fun. So I said, I saw it as a bit of a bounce after I got that profit taker. I said, just take everything out here. Happy I did, but then I noticed we made a higher low. We got to 85s. I tried to get involved at 85s, and PDD was like, no, you don't. So we got to 85s. I missed my entry. It's cool. Then I said, where are we seeing the next pause on the book? That's going to be 62s. Got involved at 62s. If we get back up to 80s, I am going to add another part to this position. But I am comfortable with the amount of shares I have. I realized I could have just sat and let this ride, but I didn't really want to, because I would, just the way I trade, I would have felt more comfortable getting everything out and then starting a whole new position afresh, especially with that VWAP bounce. Now what I'm seeing, though, is a potential flat bottom break at VWAP. Which, like, don't mind if I PD do.
Oh.
I do not mind if I PD do. So that would be great. I am keeping my dip buy, not my dip buy, my rip sell here at 80s. I'll move it a little lower if I have to, but I don't want to go chasing waterfalls. I am comfortable with the amount of shares I have, but if I could have more shares for a breakdown, like, who's going to say no to that? Maybe someone, but I like that. Bizarro Adara is fun. This is Glitch the Glitch. Yeah, I mean, we're all in Bizarro World. Shout out to that DC character. If anyone knows this very, like the kind of like off version of Superman, shout out there.
Come on.
Spy, also I want to take a look. Oh, someone wants to look at Microsoft. What's the level 2 showing for the soft one? Says Deus X. I love that name as well. It's a great name. Level 2 here, we're seeing a lot of these little yellow prints on my book. Let's see how the book's moving. Okay, this is interesting for me with Microsoft. What we're seeing is, I think, this interesting flip-flop on the chart here. Look at that support, now kind of becoming resistance at 430. But that was also a little bit of a bullish candle with that bottoming wick. So I think this could be an interesting area. I think both the book and the chart and the tape seem to be a little bit halted here. Not halted literally, I should have worded that better, but halted metaphorically. We're having a bit of a decision point, a tipping point, come in on MSFT. So that's what I'm looking here. Deus X, I love that name. And hopefully you are loving Microsoft. I know, I'm really happy for Sharif as well for getting revenge on that punk. Because I know you were not super happy with what Microsoft did. How's your meta?
We got stopped out, but I'm looking to get back in again. Here we go. So now we're back in. I'm looking for, I saw a hammer candle here, and I'm trying to scalp off this level. That's all. That's the whole thing. We're long 75s. Let's see if we can get something out maybe at 95s. I think my stop is going to be the break of the $0.50. So we're going to have to put that in real quick there. I'm going to have to give it a bit more room than that. So we'll put in the stop. I'm looking to scalp on this name. I saw a hammer candle come in. I'm like, all right. I saw a hammer candle on the Future as well, a hammer candle on Apple. I know I shouldn't be basing too much on one measly candle, but I'm really at a loss for trades in this afternoon. So I'm trying to find something here to trade. And it looks like maybe will get printed here. Yes. What's it called again? Oh, wow. What a move up here, man. What? Dog, why does it always take me out of the entire position? Oh, that's so frustrating. Come on. I didn't mean to take out the entire position there, man. That was supposed to be a B quitter, and I was supposed to let it run. Oh, that's so frustrating. Okay. Well, we'll have to move on to the next one. It did pop into 40s there, so I did get bottom wick at 466.75, and here comes 467.40. Man, that's a second fat finger today on my part. Oh, that's so frustrating. Look at it go. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's my fault. There's nobody else to blame. There's no keyboard to blame or nothing to blame. It's all on you, and that's the beauty about trading, right? You have to take everything that comes because you control all your actions here. Anyway, so bit of a fat finger. Didn't mean to take everything out there. Meant to actually let it ride a bit, but that's neither here nor there. The other trade that just destined to go unfilled, man. I'm going to have to cancel this because it's no longer valid. I don't think it comes down. If it comes down here, I don't want this trade. The point of that trade was to try to get a quick entry off a 10-period retracement, but you'll see. This was the only candle that touched the 10 period. They were at 110. Prior to that, it had been the 1245 candle. So, you know, these are hard to come by because just NVIDIA is so strong. Here comes 1060, 1059.74 HOD right now. So you assume, I said we would see 60, and I was kind of, I kind of, you know, like, Sharif, do you really want to say that? And yeah, there we go. We're going to see 60 on the day. Great move up for the monster NVIDIA today. I don't have any trades now that I've fat-fingered this meta trade. Let's look for what else. BCG, shout out to Tisha Perkins. This one making another move through VWAP. So I'm less inclined to use VWAP at all with this name. What I'm going to use is price action support. Look at these, 620, 625 area. There's definitely a buyer in and around that area, as the same way that there's a seller around the 7.25, 7 1/3. When it gets really parabolic, it makes its way up to 7.5, but you'll see the closing prints are all below 7 1/3. In fact, most of them are at 7 1/4. So this one could be interesting here as both a long and short BCG. Let me give you the deets on this one. I gave it to you earlier, but I'll give it to you again. $118 million market cap, 13 1/3 million shares trade on the day. The float is almost 3 million shares float. Let's see what the short float is there on BCG. According to Trade Ideas, it doesn't have it. So we don't know what the short float is there. We'll have to use a different program, and alas, I do not have one here open. So yeah, we'll keep eyes on BCG. I like that. Oh, it's right at that level. I don't have shorts on it. I'm assuming this is a pay for shorts kind of setup. Let's load it up over here. BCG. Let's see what is popping off with this one. Let's go super high. See if we can get a short. No. So this is a pay for shorts. I can't short at these levels, but there you go. The bamboozlement coming in aggressively there, and the spread really opened up, man, on a $7 name. It was like 20 pennies there, 727 to the high side and like 707 to the downside. Now it's 10 pennies as this one meets a lot of buying and selling at this key area that we talked about. This area right here, 7 1/4, 7 1/3 seems to be a bit of a top locally, as is 6 1/5, 6 1/4 to the downside there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like your friend Alfred, because I know you said Alfred always gets excited when his stocks move against him because then he can get more. And that was me with PDD.
Oh, yeah.
PDD is a pop, and I'm like, yay, because I want some more shares. Right now, as long as we stay below that 156 decisively, I'm staying in this trade. I'm really proud of this. I did get out, and then I got back in when I kept seeing what I wanted, lower highs, that flat bottom. I want that flat bottom break. I want that too. But I also want all the smoke. So I do have an order here set to get out. I'm only getting out 40% of the position. And I realize it's very specific, but it's just based on, you know, how many shares I have. I want to get out here at that 155.40s. We had that earlier and it bounced, so that is, of course, where I would like to get out. Let's go to my position, de-risk. Then what I want is a flat bottom break. And I think it's possible. We did have these lower highs and a flat bottom. What I don't love is, of course, this VWAP bounce, which is why I kind of got everything out here earlier in addition to what I was seeing on the chart. But I mean, the fact that we're seeing these lower highs, I think I owe it to myself to try. Look, I did initially have that failed short earlier, and then I made like most of it back, still down in the day. But the thing is, I don't want to be trading on P&L. I want to be trading based on my conviction and based on levels I like. And if I still like this PDD, why not go for it? Why not attempt? There seems to be no NVIDIA in sight of this rally for that name. Like, oh my gosh. Whew. Bullish candle, bullish candle. Like, go NVIDIA? Question mark? Yeah, this is a great look there. So ELF, someone wanted to say, can we check on ELF? And I was like, yeah, for sure, I can check on ELF. I can see how that ELF's doing on its shelf. And what I can tell you is that short I was kind of looking for off 189 never materialized. Thank goodness I did not take it when I saw that dip, because ELF just kept creeping to the upside. Say it, those little helpers. Go into the upside here. Every time we look like we're trying to curl, ELF's like, what do you mean? Keeps going to the upside. So great look here for E to the L to the F. Saw someone mentioning Pan Dub as well. So let's see how that name is doing today. Is it a Pan Dub or is it a Pan L?
What are we looking at today?
We're looking at 313s.
Oh, hello there, 313.
It's a nice, that VWAP bounce, this is like clean. This is a clean VWAP bounce at 11.
Yeah, I'm less interested in that and more about the price.
Oh, that's fair too.
Yeah, kind of in long-term account. You know?
That's a good point. But yeah, nice look. I would say it's a Pan Dub if you're in Pan Dub, I would say. Also, PDD, if you want to get a little bit lower, please just punch. Killer Cam says AMD's asleep.
Hilda.
So let's see if yeah, a little bit. I have to say, I don't dislike the idea of short. I like this short. Look at this. Look at that support. Look at that resistance. 162 level. We're going to take a pretty small position, not like a teeny tiny position, but a position that I feel like I can live and breathe in. We're going to take that short. That's what I want. And because I do think it is, I agree it is a little bit of sleep, putting sleep in AMD here. But I do think, if for my purposes, I don't mind this because I do think we are continuing to stutter step to the downside. It's a sleep, but it's a sleep with a pattern, and that's something. What are you looking at?
Sounds good. I'm putting up another dip trade in NVIDIA. Whatever, we'll see if that one prints or not. I'm keeping also an eye on BCG. I can't get shorts on this because the big kahunas are not at their desk, but it came right into 740 and now we're at 715. So not really surprised about that, but I'll look to get it at the lower levels here at that 620 if it makes its way down. Now that may not be by the end of the show for sure. So that's a bit of an issue there. But let me remind you guys that we have a brand new segment between 2 o'clock to 2:20. We put the ball in your court. You now get to choose what we talk about. The big kahunas are going to analyze the tickers for you. It's super simple. Between 1 p.m. to 1:50 p.m., you're going to type in that little code right there into the chat. And all you're really going to do is hit ! join, space, $, and the ticker that you want. Yesterday, it was NVDA that was #1. The last couple of days prior to that, though, it was the Cybertruck, TSLA, the #1 name requested. If you want Neil and Sean to look at the ticker for you and to give you their analysis on the name, then you're going to have to do that because that's the only way it's going to get done. Join us every day from 1 to 1:50 for voting, and then join us 2 to 2:20 every day when we talk about what you guys want us to talk about, aka Viewer's Choice. That would be a nice name for the...
Yeah, not Dealer's Choice, Viewer's Choice.
Dealer's Choice. Are you old enough to remember Viewer's Choice pay-per-view?
I am not.
There's one thing you don't actually know.
There's a couple things there's quite a few things I don't actually know, Sharif.
No, because you always punch outside of your weight class.
That's true, yeah.
Especially with music, movies, popular culture and stuff.
Never heard of that Viewer's Choice.
Yeah, back when there was analog cable, that was how you got like pay-per-view events. It was called Viewer's Choice pay-per-view. Oh. Right, yeah, back in the day. Anyway. So that's kind of, Neil and Neil were talking about that yesterday.
That's cool. I did not know that.
Yes, that's the look there. So anyway, looking for this 740 area. Again, if the big kahunas come back, I'll be looking to get shorts, secure shorts on BCG. But I definitely am going to be looking at that 6 1/3, 6 1/4 hold up at the low end of an area. This is an absolute range that BCG has been putting in. But forget about my range. There's somebody on the left there that just printed, and I want to know all about it.
Thank you. I mean, I haven't printed yet. I'm so proud of that. Oh my gosh, I should have stayed in AMD. That was, it's not an AM disaster because I printed, but here's one example of like, girl, what are you doing? I took 40 pennies on this. I thought I was feeling great. I was like, Flip that ponytail. It wasn't even really a planned trade. Pulled it up for someone, liked it, got in. Now it's like, Adara, could you have maybe held it? No, I'm joking. It's all fine. I got out because I noticed we were kind of struggling with 80s. I got out at 60s. I got involved at 62s. Really proud of this trade, but like I would have been prouder had I held it a little bit longer. It's all good though. You never know what's going to happen. You have to take the trades you're comfortable with. The one thing, and I want to shout out everybody as well yesterday for saying this, I definitely need to work on holding my trades longer because sometimes I'll have ideas that work and they just don't. You know, I don't let them come to fruition, which is definitely my fault, but you have to hopefully learn. One thing I am so proud of, though, that I waited for was this PDD. I'll stop laughing like a supervillain and talk about it. Why not? So I liked this short initially, 156. Didn't work out. Tried to go long 156. Couldn't. Blah, 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 blah. Get short 156. Works out. We have that nice bounce off the 155.40. So I got out there. Then I got back involved when I noticed that we were still seeing these lower highs and a flat bottom. I still want out 40% of the position. I realize that's specific, but it's all good. I want 40% of the position out just below 155.40s, which it looks like we might get. Fingers crossed. And then I want to save a little bit more for a piece of the dream. I don't like saving pieces for dreams, but when I have, you know, I mean, to be fair, pieces for dreams, PDD, piece dream. I don't know. maybe this is like a crazy theory here, but I all jokes aside, I do really like this level. I think it has the propensity to break. What I like even better, I was gonna get out 156, right? We get to 155.96. Oh, I think not. Goes to the downside, so that gives me even more confidence. I do like this trade. I don't have confidence, but I have confidence, and I think that counts for something. Also, wow, AMD, that was a
AM Dizzle.
Yeah, AM Dizzle, AM dumped.
All right.
What a day.
We just took 50 pennies super quick there on META. 466.50 flat bottom. Took that super quick, covered 40 penny winner. Incorrect, not 50 penny. Covered right in front of 466, but I'm in trouble with this position. I'm long NVDL, looking for a 10 period on the 5, hold up on NVDA, and it's not forthcoming. I'm 22 pennies out of the money on this one. Well, okay, I just spoke too soon. Now I'm 10 pennies out of the money. So we'll see if this one can make its way back up. I'm looking for a 10 period hold. Wow, NVDL, man. There we go. Let's put that up there to wet our beak on some profits. And there it is, baby. Wow, I had to pack my patience on that one. Very happy with this trade. I really was looking for a 10 period retracement on NVDL. Let's see if this one can continue to hold up. I don't know if we get highs right away, but I'm long now 12s, 8 pennies in the money. Let's see if this one can keep moving up. I'm probably gonna have to pack my patience. What I'll do is I'll readjust my stop so that I can put it just below the trough of this candle here, so that if it does make a new low off that 10 period retracement, my trade ends super quick there. But I am looking for a possible retracement into that 50 penny level. That would just be aces. But I think that might be a little bit, ambitious at those levels. And then right back down. What's going on? Right back down into my entry again on NVDL. So we're gonna have to pack our patience here as the market really moving now, baby. Here comes 53 again. So now I'm gonna get stopped out if it keeps breaking below that level. I'll send it to you, Adair, to adjust my stop.
Yeah, I mean, I want to show it to Sharif for that awesome trade. What I love even more is the whole market's heading to the downside, and Sharif finds a long he likes, and he takes it. And I think that's honestly awesome.
Crazy.
Because, no, it's I will not call you crazy. I will not.
Okay.
I will say I love that because you had confidence in the level, and it showed itself. I literally just want to shout that out because I think that's awesome. And it's something I would probably be really hesitant to do. PDD, I have 40% of my position out as planned. Now we're waiting for more downside. The very scaredy cat part of me wants so badly to get out at VWAP, but I'm like, Adara, we keep seeing lower highs. I think you owe it to yourself to try. And that's the biggest thing. Yoda says there's no try, there's only do. So we owe it to ourselves to PD do it. I went overboard there, but I really like this one. AMD, if we keep rejecting, I don't think we're going to get another 90 MA rejection, but if we keep rejecting, I'll get back on this short. I don't want to revenge trade it, mind you. I am still happy with what I did. Could I have gotten more out of it? Oh, sure. But that's what every trade, it's just what you get what you put into it, you get what you get.
And you don't get
upset, but you do learn and you do grow. I'm really proud of what the trading I did today. I'm going to be really upfront about that. So, and I think sometimes that might matter. Asta echoing my thoughts. Crazy, it's not even 2 p.m. Yeah, this has been quite the day in the markets. I want to talk about Bears versus Bulls as well, because he was saying, oh, like, you know, good luck on your guys' trades today. He's always so positive, always killing it. And then he said, looks like it could be a crazy day for volatility for you guys. And yeah, you were not wrong. Bears and Bulls were out today, so very much living up to the name of our lovely moderator. Shout out as always to Bears v. Bulls. Also, right now, GME v the 20 level. That was a huge level earlier. We had that nice curled top. We got in. I was like, oh, maybe I'll go long on that VWAP bounce. And thank goodness I did not. Bless you. Because then GME was like, no, GME decided to sneeze at the VWAP level and then headed to the downside. Dropped and traded a little bit first, then broke decisively below that 1990 area. Bless you.
Down, Ram
Chuck 8. Don't say. Let Ram Ram sneeze. Hashtag let Ram Ram sneeze 2024. But no, so Ramin falling a little bit here. Not Ramin, GME. Oh my God, I'm tired. Ramin is standing upright or sitting upright and having a great time.
What is she doing?
I'm sorry, I said Ramin falling. I meant to say GME
so
falling.
funny. I love
yeah,
that.
we have a good time here. But GME trying to hold on to 1989 here, like that Taylor Swift album. So let's see what it does. I think the breaking below that $20 area that Sean pointed out, that was a really nice area of support earlier, could be interesting. PDD, if you want to break support, I'd love that. What are you looking at?
I stopped out for the rest there on NVDL, so we held this one a little bit too long. We should have been more scalpy with it, because now NVDA, let's bring in the chart, a bit of a topping tail candle. But the thing is, the topping tail candle is not coming at the top, which is a little bamboozling. Usually you see these candles at the top. So right now it's really fighting with the 10 period here. So let's see if it can cut to the 20. It did not tanking. It's just it dropped a little bit. The NVDA, the futures is tanking though. The futures is in a full state of tank. Apple breaking 188. So that's well off the highs now. Apple 1.6% in negatory land. So is META. Look at Meta at the low of day right now. $65, breaking all the the after the bell lows that we put on the IB low there at 10 o'clock. So everything coming down, guys. We've been running up a lot lately on the market. You needn't look at the daily on the NQ. This is a healthy pullback, I feel, in my humble opinion here. So we need these days, but it's just there. When you get so focused on the long, it's hard to flip short. But hey, we took a couple of shorts today. Hey? Remember we flipped short? Yeah, no, I'm not talking. The Katina man, short. I'm just talking about myself. I'm not the seasoned trader that the Katina man is. I mean, he flipped short, no problem. To me, it takes a little bit of time to get the ball rolling. But we did take that good short on Softy and on Meta, so I was happy about that. But took this one maybe at the inopportune time and VDL long. So we stop out remaining balance for a loss on that remaining balance. So that's what I'm looking at there. Everything else headed to the downside. But Adara found a sick trade here with PDD between the highs and the lows.
Thank you. And I want to clarify as well, I did initially take an L on this, and I'm happy I got back in. Like I said, this initial short, I got short a big green candle. What was I doing here, man? I don't know. But I did love that 156 level. It didn't work. I got out. I'm happy I didn't overstay my welcome. Could have been worse, right? Then I wanted to go long, and I think the long might have worked. But then the second I noticed we started flipping short, I said, Adara, I know you got a little bit burned earlier. I don't know why I'm speaking to myself in the third person here. But it's like if you like a level, Sean always talks about conviction. Sean will talk about conviction quite a lot, and so I had conviction in this PDD level. I didn't want it to be a revenge trade, so I was careful. I took less shares than I went in. Then this second time, I loaded up on shares because I love this look. I said, I want minimum VWAP, and I want maximum a break below VWAP. So right now I'm holding out. I'm going to get another 40% of the position out at 155 should we get there. Then I'm saving a piece for the dream, putting the P and the D in the piece for the dream here with PDD. We keep bouncing our VWAP, but we are seeing much lower highs. Look at these candles. We're getting ready for something here. And the thing that I think we might be getting ready for is a flat bottom break. Also, shout out to Fugazi Bear, 199 super chat. Woo. Thank you so much, Fugazi Bear. Cashed 80% of gold puts. Just puts $, so I guess he's in the money on that. Just need a gold digger. I don't know, good times there. Let's take a look at that GLD on the AM. Okay, this is, yeah, I mean, gold puts. What else is there to say? You killed that on that trade. I love that support resistance chip top here around that 270, 217 level, continuing to the downside. 9 EMA rejection. Not a good day for gold. So great look though for you, Fugazi Bear, on that trade. Also, wow, that AMD drop, AM drop. Yeah, I definitely exited this short a bit early, perhaps. Would have been $1.50 in the money, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. Still took profit. Happy, like I said, if we see another 9 EMA rejection, I might take this one into the end of the day. But PDD, if you want to make me really happy to the end of the day, I'd love that.
All right, guys, in about 12 minutes, we're going to be starting our brand new segment. It's a segment that runs from 2 to 2:20, where you guys get to have your say. You use this code in the chat to vote for the ticker that you want us to talk about between 2 and 2:20. The big kahunas are going to look at it for you. They're going to give you their look, the technicals, whether they traded it or not, and the full scope there. So go ahead, go into the chat, type in exclamation point, join, space, $, and whatever ticker you want. Yesterday, the number one requested ticker was obviously NVIDIA with the earnings on deck. The prior couple of days, it had been Tesla. So get your vote in now. Otherwise, we will not cover the one that you want. I know a lot of people are looking for GME and AMC, and they want to know all about the memes. So if you want us to talk about those, go ahead and have that put in the chat there super quick. So good luck for that. So I'm going to go back here on NVDL. And I'm going to be looking here, and so this is frustrating because I literally got out bottom wick. So I want to see right now if we start curling back up on NVDL, because I was looking for a 20-period retracement on the 5-minute look. This is what I'm looking at here. So we haven't had a 20-period retracement since about 12:10. So now we're starting to get these candles in. So I want to put something on the equivalent of about, say, 1,053 and change on NVDL to take that 20 period. But I want to wait, now that we're at the 20 period here on NVDL, do we hold up, on NVDA, excuse me, do we hold up? It doesn't look like maybe we're going to hold up at this level. We already wicked below it. Let's see where the closing print comes in. A lot of dance in here, a lot of volume coming in. This candle alone has about 500,000 shares, and we just opened up this candle. So there's a plenty of volume on NVDL. This one has 413. This one has over 500,000 as well. So the volume is there to support the price action. We just have to figure out whether I'm getting in at the right area. I'm going to pack my patience here on NVDA, but I definitely could be persuaded to get in at this level. If not, if it doesn't hold up at the 20, there's going to be no long position for me on NVDA or NVDL or any other derivative thereof. It's going to have to hold up at the 20 on a closing basis. Otherwise, I'm not going to take it. What are you guys looking at here? Throw in the tickers. Hot Pepper says Meta. Meta is at 465. It's doing its darndest to hold on to support level 2 on META. We just took that one super quick short through the break of 466.5, covered at 466. Should have let that monster go because it kept going down into 468, 464.81, trying to hold up at this level. It did dance with this level earlier, the IB low at around 10 o'clock. We'll have to see if it gives up the ghost at that level or whether it holds up. Softy getting a bit of a bounce here at support level 2 on pivots. On pivots at right at that 428 and change level, looking to curl back up into the $0.75. Not much else. It's all dead cat bounces, it feels like here, for the exception of NVDA. The bounces on NVDA have been legitimate. I feel like the other 6, it's been short the pop kind of situation there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still, I want to stop looking at PDD because I feel okay about this and I just need to stop staring at it. Mara and Clean Spark, I saw coin Frank Jones, the one and only. That song came on recently when I was like out the other day and I was like, wow, I was very pleased as punch. But yeah, Frank Jones putting out that coin, picking up speed to the downside. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 red candles in a row for Coinbase. And look at, I mean, for me, that area of resistance on coin, 228. We see it once,
nice, Katina,
we see it twice, we see it OB thrice. We are definitely seeing a little bit of a move here to the downside for Coinbase, and especially off that double top of 228. Mara and Clean Spark were requested as well. Mara was interesting. Mara really fooled you. Mara had a little upward trend and a flat top.
Oh.
Would we break? Oh, actually, we're going to break down to the downside. So basically, to put it lightly, 21 did not do something for Mara, unfortunately. We got to 21, and we failed.
Huh?
Sorry, I thought. And then we have CLSK here as well, which is CLSK fell like decisively below VWAP, but CLSK is interesting to me too. We had that VWAP support here, 17.5, which should certainly flip to resistance. SWIN open apparently now. I know that SWIN was having quite the SWIN's been quite the emotional roller coaster and the literal roller coaster. Shout out to you, Brad Aldman, saying that SWIN opened 77 upside and re-halted. I know you said that you were involved in this name earlier, so we couldn't find any news on that, but hopefully SWIN for the win for you. What are you looking at today?
I just took an NVDL short. Nice little 30-penny move here on NVDL. It broke the 20, and it didn't hold up at the 20. I said to myself, Sharif, if it's not holding up at the 20, then what do you know what is it going to hold up at? There's nothing below the 20 until the 50 here at 1,045. So as soon as it broke it with some distance, I punched short on NVDL. Shout out to Neil Roberts, man, for getting me those shorts on NVDL. And it now has broken that 1,050 level, coming in to support or resistance level 1 here on pivots. But I want to see what it does at the 50. This is really interesting. It hasn't even touched the 50 since 9:25 this morning. If it touches it right now, it'll be the first time in the regular trading session that it does. But look at that hammer candle, or possible hammer candle coming off the resistance level 1, which is obviously working as support here, not resistance. So I'm keeping my eye on NVDA to trade NVDL, but I only have a couple minutes left until I got to go up to the green screen, which is going to precipitate me to remind you one more time. Oh, it's not. We can't remind you. It's now done. You can't vote anymore. You can only vote from 1 to 150. But I just want to let you guys know that for tomorrow, that's the code there, and you can vote for the tickers that you want the big kahunas to discuss at Dara.
Yeah, that segment's been so fun with Sharif at the green screen. So it sounds like people are enjoying it. So of course, if you do want to get involved every day, just around 1 p.m., do that exact thing that Sharif just showed you. Yeah, PDD continuing to crack. I'm going to get some of this out at 22s because that's where we bounce, but I am still going to be saving a scintilla of shares here for that another move down. So yeah, please just punch with what these markets are doing. ES here at 53, says Kyle Burdett. Let's take a look at the SPY. Let's see what we spy here on the SPY. Hope everyone had a great day. I think this has been a really fun day to trade. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls. Oh, wow. Look at this drop here on the SPY. Talk about a break here. Double bottom. Yeah, that's not support. That's going to be resistance. We fall here to the downside on the SPY. My, oh my. Yeah, and what's crazy too is we did actually have like this wick here into 530 on the SPY. Also, I should have taken this short. Also into that previous resistance, support. And then the SPY is like, yeah, no, I will definitely just continue falling. So big move to the downside here. Audience participation at its finest, says Bears versus Wolves. Yes, indeed. Honestly, I cannot say enough great things about this community. I'm so happy to be a part of it. And I think this is such a great community. So I'm happy now that we also get to get everybody involved in this segment that we have going on at the end of the day. It makes me so happy, and so happy everyone's here as well. NVIDIA, apparently to the downside, moving down here even further. Let's take a look at NVDA to see what that one's doing here. It was NVDA for the longs earlier, but now it's been NVDA for the shorts. I want to see what we do at 1047. That was an area that I had eyes on this morning. That was kind of interesting on NVDA. Oh my gosh, PDD falling even lower here. This is, I'm so happy. I'm going to get out here because I was going to get out of this before the end of the day anyway. I do not trade beyond the midday period because this is, it's just, I have other things that I do here. So this is the period where I trade. Please just punch with PDD. Thank you, Adara. Thank you, Sheree, says Josh Lyles. Thank you, Josh Lyles, and thank you, everybody in the chat. What do people want to look at here? GME at that 20, says K-Debs. So let's take a look at GME. Okay, this is great. Shout out to Sean Katina, CEO of Katina Capital. No, I'm joking. But Sean called that 20 support there. Now could it form as resistance? This could be really interesting level for GME. GME tried to break VWAP, had a bit of a failure here, a pseudo double top at that 2040, then continued to fall to the downside. AMD, I agree with you, West, y'all. That was this short. I should have still been in this short. This is a crazy move to the downside here. AM dump is right. Like, look at these continue to kind of chop and turn, then we fall viciously. Someone said AMD was asleep, and it's funny. I think the second that it heard we thought it was asleep, that's when it had that big move down here. I thought we could do something here at this 160.50. AMD falling almost another $1 since that point. So this has been quite the level. Had GME off 23 times today, says Lee Wagner, 25-cent bounces. So shout out to you for making those pennies there, for making that, for killing it there on GME. That's a good scalp, and I love scalps.
So Bo came into that level, Bo or BCG? Oh, it was Bo, B-O-W. That was the, what's it called? The IPO. That 23 level that we were talking about is that key level of resistance because it was a high of day. That came in, and look at that, short right off that level into 79s. But I was looking for actual break of 23 to kind of use it as support. It hasn't come in. It's been rejecting off that level multiple times now. So keep your eye on BOW. Shout out to Jose Mercado for pointing this out. Bought this one, and it looks like he's in the money on it. So keep your eye out. BOW 34.5% a day. I'm going to head up to the big screen.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sharif, for being here. And if you want to see Sharif at the big screen, just tune in 2 minutes. Yeah, thank you, Sharif, as well, for killing it with the lessons of the day, putting those together for us. Hopefully everyone's learning and having a good time. Stop selling, you animals, says Ponzi Fonzie. Yeah, I don't know. I think there is a lot of selling in these markets. You know, I hope you guys had a great trading day. I'm pretty proud of how today went. I turned PDD from my worst name of the day to my best name of the day. And I think it just really comes from conviction. That's the biggest thing I've learned. And I want to shout out Sean yesterday for that conversation we had after the market recap, just about, you know, it's okay to take losses if you're coming at it like with conviction, if you have ideas you like and you're committing to them. So I'm pretty proud of what happened there. Peace, Sharif, says Ponzi Fonzie. Yeah, we're going to have to say hi to Sharif again in just a minute there. What other levels are we looking at? I want to see what else people want to take a look at here. Let's look at that Tesla. Yeah, Tesla. Talk about a VWAP rejection. I thought we'd bounce off VWAP and Tesla just swoop to the downside. We're going to have to swoop out here in a couple of seconds here as well. But yeah, this Tesla, a lot of these names, Tesla, AMD, looking kind of similar. Not QAMD. AMD, the Qs, though, I will pull up the Qs here as well. A lot of the Qs are the best, says Sean, who I know has a short to talk about on the TQs. So you'll get to hear about that in just a few seconds. Hope you guys had a great day. I had always so much fun with such a great community. And we're going to have to wait and see you guys tomorrow. Same bad time and the same bad channel. You guessed it. Right now, though, we have the big kahunas at the big desk, Brendan at the big desk, and Sharif at the big screen.
Hey guys, welcome to the segment where you choose what we talk about. You're going to have your vote every day now from 1 o'clock to 1:50.